Who we have in here? We have 4.
Yes.
So far.
Should be only 4 total.
All right, we're set 4 of 4.
Okay. And I am going to window capture.
Your brother.
Kyle is Coop's brother.
Right. Coop's brother? Okay.
So I am fucking with something real quick. But
It's
normal.
daytime in Alaska. Look at that. Look at that bright white snow.
Is it finally daytime or is it, just daytime?
Well, it's like 4 hours behind us.
What's the question? I had to take my headset off.
Oh, looking at your snow and
I was trying to
brightness.
find out if it was finally daytime or if it actually is daytime.
Yeah, it's actually daytime.
Okay, that's good.
It's like 5 for you, right?
Yep, it's 5.
And 5 more months till you're out of there? 6 more months?
Nope. So it all kind of came forward again. So they said screw it. So
What's
December it is again to leave.
that? Oh. That's good, right?
Assuming that they don't change it again.
Dude, that's fucking awesome for you.
Oh yeah, no, we're more than happy. We're we're more than happy at this point.
Got housing set up already?
No,
Where you're going? Yeah, I can imagine.
not yet.
I still don't even have my DD-214. Actually, I'm not even getting that. I'm getting an NGB-22.
What does that even mean?
It's National Guard Bureau's version of the DD-214.
Oop, that's not what I want.
Because National Guard's
Yeah.
technically separate from active duty.
Hmm.
It's the same thing, just a different document.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Guys, just got to be different, I guess.
I know, right? What are we, the Space Force at this point?
Hey, the
Yeah.
Space Force has some cool shit, actually. Though.
Did you see their new
You mean
uniform?
you mean the Department of the Air Force? So now the Navy's got the Marines, and now the Air Force has got Space Force.
Hey, don't judge them. We're just jealous that we're not part of it.
I could have went and tried to join it,
Really
but I
can't.
realized that I don't want to, because I don't want to be a part of the meme army.
The fucking potato.
Let's be fair. The Space Force has been ruined by the fact that they're nothing more than a meme. let's be honest here.
Did you see their uniform concept?
Yeah, I did. Very Star Trek-ish, from what all the jokes are saying.
Stargate and kind of Star Wars.
Nah, it's
The way the
Battlestar
lapel
Galactica.
is. That's it, Battlestar Galactica.
If you pull up their uniform, you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm
That's just
about
so
it.
bad. That's just so bad.
Oh, then the Star Trek logo, that's what it is.
Yes, yes.
Phone laying here somewhere.
Battlestar Galactica and then Star Wars, all like lumped into one fucked up combo. Okay, so I am adjusting fire a little bit from what we had originally done, essentially, that one
See
time.
that?
Because I don't know if I can actually get it to look right otherwise.
What do you mean?
With multiple of us being in here.
Did you see that video I sent you where it's essentially you just keep making like screen captures and you crop them all differently so that way
Yeah. I don't have all that set up on this one yet. But we'll figure it out as we go, essentially.
Maybe.
We did know.
Don't commit to anything.
Church, we did know that this was going to be a bit of a hard roller coaster. All right.
Yeah, we just got to work on it for next time.
Yeah.
It'll be good though. Not worried about it. Not worried about it in the slightest.
All right. And I am going
Or
to.
Mike.
How's my mic sound? I don't sound too close or anything. Not getting
Sound
too
great.
screechy.
You sound good to me.
Looking all fancy with that studio mic.
Got the same one I do, I think. No, wait, you ended up getting the toner.
No. Yeah.
Or, well, toner equivalent. All right, so do we actually have people here? Like watching us? Probably
No,
not.
I think we drop the link in our Discord and go from there.
Well, I'm gonna fix the link that I've been spamming Twitter all day for. Because obviously it's the wrong link now. And then Facebook, because I was doing the same thing there, because yeah. So on my side, give me a moment. So and I'll edit all this crap out. Sounds like a good idea to me, at least.
Works with me. Look at that cat poking you in the face. Is that a cat? I just see a
That's
tail.
cat. That's a
See a
cat.
It's a
tail.
raccoon.
Show you the cat.
It's a raccoon.
Ugly thing.
We have an ugly thing here somewhere. Two of them.
I pretty much chase my cat away. I don't want her doing it. It's annoying.
Facebook. Oh, I need the link.
Try and fix the lighting in here.
I can turn
Oh, this-
off like half of mine.
On this game, I just lost like 70,000 fucking in-game currency.
Sounds like you're playing Tarkov again, my friend.
Yeah, I may have just accidentally forgot to open my parachute while I was jumping in.
Nice, nice. Good time.
But kind of need that. You definitely need that. It's definitely very important, I would say.
Yeah.
There's that. Then, excuse me. My channel. What's live right now? And it's not playing R6. And it's not playing
Turn the volume off on
Delay
the
there.
other video.
Um,
Alexa, turn on the film. You know how many people are watching?
I can see it over here on the analytics.
How many people we had? A big fat 0?
Currently, yes, but there's a
Fuck yeah.
hard possibility that that's because the link that I've been sharing to everyone is wrong. So that's the thing. What the hell did that just do? Okay, there, and
Those fancy headset thing going on there. Look at it glowing and everything. Do you even
It's a
do you
lamp.
even no, talk about your headset, genius. What's going on with that? Oh, that all RGB'd up and stuff. Look at it. Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Fancy.
yeah.
Too bad you don't really play games with it.
I know.
He's just dead silent on that. He's like,
And
you.
piece of shit.
fuck you, church.
Fuck
Fucking
this
asshole.
guy.
Quit making fun of me.
Oh no. Mister, I live all the way in fucking Alaska.
Where the
Only
mosquitoes are
play
as
it.
big as your.
Hey, don't you be making fun of our state bird.
They can come pick you up. The fucked up part.
That was the first joke they made when I got here. You know, they called it the state bird. You see that stuff though? That stuff is scary, man. You're like outside in this big ass thing about the size of your freaking. It's about almost the size of your fucking thumbprint is like flying around your face, chasing you, and you're like, get away, get away, get away, get away, and you're running away.
Go one more time. Is it the hand motion and all?
You know, little thumb thing come flying around. You're like, I'm out, get away. And
Yeah,
you're
that
like,
is-
run away.
That is definitely not what you did.
I don't remember I didn't see what I did. I just kind of did it. I
Do it
didn't.
again. Do it again.
I don't remember what I did. I just kind of did it.
I see a patch on Rio's shoulder there that I used to have.
Just have a keystone.
Yeah.
Good old bloody bucket.
When I was in the National Guard, I wore a bloody bucket. So,
7 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
gotta give you shit because
Hey, when's the last time you got to fire an M4?
2016.
Last month.
When's the next time I'm probably gonna ever get to? If I ever go to Pendleton to be a fucking devil dog.
Which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, it probably won't happen.
Hopefully, with winter coming, I won't have any of that coming up anytime soon. I don't want to. It's cold.
And now I
Scary
need to
things
share
outside.
shit.
You're gonna be in Virginia. You'll be fine.
Well, they don't even have guns there. I'm being told that I'm not even gonna draw like CIF or nothing, so I can't even wait for that.
You're not even gonna draw CIF? What the fuck?
Hey, where I'm working, there's no need for it. There's
Yeah.
no need. There's no
You're gonna
need.
be you're gonna be in the pinks and greens all day. Where they're
Fucking
putting
hope
it?
not. Oh my god. Fuck me. I forgot all about that. This shit's ugly.
I guess I'm going to have to get me a camera so I can fit in with the cool kids. Need to get
Wearing
me a
that
studio
officer
mic.
uniform.
Officer uniform.
you're
Somebody
gonna-
uniform.
If you're gonna waste your money on a mic, you don't need to, honestly. Camera, just get a Logitech.
I'm gonna get me one of them great big boom mics that just keeps falling into screen as I'm fucking talking.
Well, the easiest way to do that is just have a boom mic on a stick and just have a 5-year-old do it. They'll run out of strength really quick. It'll look
Yeah.
legit too.
I'm gonna have my daughter come in here. I'm gonna take my mic off of the table and just have her
Wait,
hold it
for-
around in my face.
Could you imagine having to chase her down just to talk?
I wouldn't be on the podcast very long. I'd be chasing my kid around the fucking house.
Right.
Get
Get
back
that
here.
wireless headset.
You guys be listening to me like yelling in the background. You little shit, get back here.
Good times.
People in our chat would be like, "Did he just call his kid a little shit?" I think we're gonna have to call somebody.
No,
That's a
it's
good
dog.
That's a good thing to talk about on the podcast is people who want to intervene with other people's parenting. I mean, what is up with that shit? You know what I'm saying? like, oh, you can't curse at your child. You know what? My parents cursed at me when I was little, and I turned out to be just fucking fine.
That's the point
Yeah,
there.
pretty much. Yeah.
I think if my parents ever cursed at me, I don't think they did. They might have. Maybe I just didn't understand. Or I was too busy going, "Don't hit me."
See, I went to
Think
basic.
about the words.
I went to basic, and they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be scary." And I was like, 6 weeks in, I was like, my mom's scarier than you guys. I'm sorry." So I just started laughing at him.
Basic training like turned out to be like one of the most disappointing parts of the army, but sadly one of the better parts of the army. Like that's the one place where like you all hated each other, but y'all hated each other enough to work together to get shit done, and then you get out to the rest of the army and everyone's like, "I hate you and I don't want to work with you." So yeah, no, I don't care, and they walk away.
I remember my drill sergeant made us swear every time we called cadence, and then he got yelled at for it. so that we stop swearing.
That's
He
funny.
made you swear.
He
I'm
made
pretty
us
Made you
swear.
swear?
I'm pretty sure you joined the fucking army. That's part of it.
It is part of it, but he incorporated it into everything.
I kid you not. We had a female lieutenant show up. Her first drill with us. We went down to electronic range down here in Fort Knox. And our buddy Rob comes out, and of course we're waiting to get parked, and this fucking chaplain's assistant rear ends me in the fucking Humvee, like just plows right into me, you know. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? We're in a parking lot. What the fuck? You know.
That's
So I
fucking
get out.
awesome.
I get out and I'm talking to Rob. I was like, "You see that fucking shit?" And Betty's like, "Jesus fucking Christ, dude, what are you doing? You know, fucking Jesus take the wheel doesn't fucking happen, really." Well, this lieutenant comes over and she goes, "Specialist Petty," and he goes, "Yeah." We don't swear in uniform. He goes, "Shit, you say." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?" And she's like, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "I'm fucking Private Cooper. This is Specialist Petty. You should probably figure out who in the fuck we are and who might you be." I'm First Lieutenant. I'm not going to put her name out there on the fucking on the interwebs, but
Good
Good
brother
idea.
Bars.
I agree. I agree.
Standing there saluting the whole time.
No,
Oh no, absolutely not. I never saluted her one.
I don't think I even did. And you know, I was like that almost squared away guy.
The great thing about it is, like, every time we were down on Fort Knox or something, even though we were on post, and they'd be like, "Well, how come you're not saluting? Train like you fight."
Just walk around and go sniper check, sniper check,
Yeah.
sniper check. Make
Chief.
them uncomfortable.
Which chief was it that we did it to? I think we did it to both of them. We would. They did not want us to salute them because you know they're chief warrant officers and they actually earned a living first. But they didn't want us to salute them.
Sure.
Sure.
So we
But
would
every
walk by
time
them
we
and be
see
like,
them-
"Sniper check," and we would tell them.
Oh,
"Sniper
it was
check."
a game.
I hate to say it, like for me, like warrant officers, like they have to prove to me that they're one of the boys, like because in today's army, like pretty much you got someone who literally makes sergeant, and depending on his MOS, is just immediately going to warrant officer, or as soon as he gets staff sergeant, which isn't a hard feat anymore, is just going right to warrant. So like what is it? I was down at JRTC, like then I had this warrant officer in the truck with me, and it's pissing rain, like, and up here in Alaska, like all our vehicles are just built for the snow. So rain, what is that? The fucking things are leaking everywhere. Like you're literally sitting there in the truck, and there's a trickle of rain just hitting you on your helmet, just pouring down over your face
Yeah.
because it's not meant for that. And here's this warrant officer, like sitting there, and you know he's supposed to be one of those guys who, you know, I went to Iraq. I am a Billy Badass here. You know, I saw shit, and then he's in the truck sitting there going, I fucking hate you guys. It's fucking raining, and he's yelling at me, and I'm sitting there thinking, what do you want? Like, what do you want me to do? Duct tape the fucking holes? There are no holes. It's just pouring through the freaking the seams. Like, what do you want me to do? And he's like yelling at me. He's cussing at me, and I'm a staff sergeant at this point. This dude is like yelling at me because he's getting wet. He's getting rained on, and he's upset about it. And I'm sitting there like, this dude is not like, no, hell no, hell no.
You bring your field paper, start shoving that in the fucking seat.
We went to AT one year, and we're setting up a JP medium. Of course, you know the first part of getting this JP medium set up is offloading this JP medium, right? So this E6 that's with us, he jumps up on the truck. He's like, "All right, guys, come on." Of course, my arm is in a sling. You know, I'm not supposed to be doing jack shit. Nobody gets up on this truck, so I climb up there. We grab a hold of one, we throw it off. Like, all right, let's get this shit. Let's get this going. So I got probably 15 of us were out there setting this tent up, and I'm standing there, and it's starting to get dark. I want to fucking lay down. I'm ready for bed. You know, I done took my Percocet. I'm good to go.
That's it.
So we're sitting there, and they're trying to drive these posts or these stakes in the ground. And I just get pissed off, take my arm out of the sling, grab this thing, just start pounding these freaking posts in. About this time, Chief Warrant Officer comes over. He's like, "You guys are going to set up a second tent for the officers and upper enlisted, right?" And I was like, "You see that box right there, sir?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "That's your fucking tent." I walked into ours. I set my cot up.
Wasn't that when we were
Yeah.
out at our own AO?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like I said, man. Like warrant officers, like they gotta prove to me that they're part of the, you know, they're one of the boys. Like they're one of like the really hardworking NCOs. Not they weren't just that NCO who would just kind of coasting through to get to that warrant rank so he can get saluted. You know, like I said, in today's army, it's so easy. It's so easy. Pretty much at this point, like they're sending people to the boards as soon as they meet the month and time and service criteria. Like that's it. Like
Yep.
they don't have to prove themselves. NCOs and NCO input has been completely removed from the process. That even if you started arguing that, hey, this dude just shows no potential, he doesn't want to be a leader, he doesn't want to do this, and here's your first sergeant going, I don't care. It's his time to go. He's going to the board. And you have no choice but to take this dude or get someone else to take them because the first sergeant is saying he is going.
I feel like
You know, you could do the counseling trail. Like there's a counseling thing that you can do, but that,
it
you know,
takes too long.
it like you can get it done. It takes like 5 minutes. There's templates all over the place. You just pull it off the internet and put it out there. But the problem is you got to get your first sergeant on board. And if the first sergeant's just sitting there going, no, I don't care. He needs to go.
Sure, COVID screwed it up too, because they just started sending people in the guard. Not
Oh,
even
when,
like they didn't even need PT. They just would throw the rank on them and say you have a year or two to go and get school done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's too easy to get promoted anymore. Like you even go to like BLC, the basic leaders course stuff, and that's
You
you know
don't
that's,
even need BLC to get sergeant now. It's a
well, in the regular army, you have to have those courses. Like you have to go to them. If you don't go to them, then they won't promote you. And if they do promote you ahead of time, then you still have to go to BLC
oh, yeah,
anyways.
you still need it. You're right on that.
In
They
the
were just-
reserves and
they were
National
advancing
Guard,
people.
you have 1 year to complete the course that corresponds with your rank. So you can get pinned E5, and say you get your contract's up in 6 months. Just
Yeah.
don't schedule a school. You get out as an E5.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they changed that in like the last 4 or 5 years.
Did
It
they?
turned into you didn't even get pinned. You had to go to school, and if you were promotable, they promoted you to corporal, and
Oh.
you would sit there for 2 years, and you'd have 2 years to go to BLC. And if you didn't go in those 2 years, they fucking threw it away. You just
Yeah,
go right back to
I
special.
don't understand why they changed all this shit. You know, platoon leader development course was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it just comes down to, and this is just my own opinion, is that the army is short on bodies. Like they don't have enough people. Like it seems
Nobody
like
wants to stay in.
well, like no one wants to stay in, and like let's be fair, no one wants to join because half of America's teenagers coming out into the world are under this impression that they need to go to college. Like before I even left college, like before I left high school, like all my teachers, all senior year and all junior year, was just college, 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 college. It's all they talked about. Now, granted, of course, because they didn't go to the military and whatnot, but they didn't teach that there were other options out there. You know, go get a trade, go get a this, go get a that. Fuck, don't go to college. You know, they didn't teach you that. They just taught you about college, what to expect when you get to college, and what you're gonna look. Even high school courses are tailored to almost be college-esque levels. Like
We had we had classes where we would sit down and they wanted us to fill out college applications during those classes. And it's
I
like,
remember those.
I'm not going to college. I'm joining the army. Oh, but well, you know, after you get out of the army, because that's not going to lead anywhere for you. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of attitude. You know, and then nowadays, well, if you don't do good in this class, you're going to be a garbage man. Garbage mans make like $27.50 an hour start off. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, like it just
Better than
college
the
is the
Army.
thing, and then like not only do they not talk to you about other options, like you see your other options if you go to like shop classes and stuff because those teachers all, you know, they're teaching you a trade, so you know they have to teach you what comes with that trade or what could come with that trade. And you know some of those kids aren't as dumb as they look, though that's kind of the stereotype. You know, they look out there and see what's available. Especially like where I grew up, like they had like a John Deere like sales place on like in our town. So like a lot of kids who did like the small engines and welding stuff, they were all gonna go to that area and work and do stuff like that. You know, so they already had that in.
I feel like today's education system should really push not just higher learning, but trades. You know, electricians, plumbers, you know, that kind of stuff. If you're looking to make a good living and you don't want to spend, you know, 4 to 8 years in college and go so much further into debt, you know, they just don't think about that shit, and nobody cares about that because, you know, let's be honest. If nobody went into the trades, the country would fail. You know, you would have no electricians, you would have no plumbers, you would have no carpenters. You know,
Yeah.
there'd be no iron workers. So you couldn't have any infrastructure because we're not in the trades. You know, I'm a liberal arts student. You know, so
Well, that's almost what's happening anymore, and that's even even if you talk to like people who are in those professions, like my father, he's a surveyor for like land surveyor and stuff like that. He actually he went to DeVry University and he got whatever his degree is in. Like he went from working with AT&T to working on this those big road signs on the side of the road, and then he went to doing construction, and then he when we lived in West Virginia, he went and he learned surveying from our neighbors, and that's how he picked that trade up, and he's been doing it for forever now. Well, now he's got these kids coming out of college because they went to college for surveying.
Yeah,
You know,
and the state has that.
college isn't even just pursuing higher learning, like more advanced maths, more technical degrees. They're absorbing everything from HVAC, welding, and stuff like that. They are doing everything they can to suck the money out of fucking other things. Like rather than going and just learning how to do these things, now they're pushing it as a college degree and trying to get kids to come for that. And that's not, you don't need a college degree to go learn welding. Like let's be fucking honest here. If you go to college and for welding, you are fucking stupid. Sit down with someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing and learn from them. You don't need to go spend like $1,000+ on a degree that you could get by just one, going through it through high school if it's still available, and two, by just going and learning from somebody with an apprenticeship.
Mhm.
Like it is as simple as that. But no, that's not what happens. These kids they get sold on college. And then, unfortunately, the only thing they know is that college, so they try to sell it to other people once they get older. They sell it to their kids. They sell it to other people's kids. It's fucking crazy. The college system is just a parasitic thing, and I'm so glad I never really got involved with it.
All right, fuck me then.
Hey, it worked for you. It worked for you. Hey, I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people. It works. It works. Some people do good. But let me tell you that
they really they push 2 years of bullshit too. Like you relearn gen eds when you go there, just to fluff up a fucking bachelor's degree, and there's absolutely no need for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
especially if you're going for a technical degree like you have.
Definitely.
Like, what is it? My wife went through Embry-Riddle University. Like, it's an aeronautical school, big name school. Here she is going through her gen eds on English, math. But guess what? It's not just English and math. It is, oh hey, this is math that is involved with aeronautical stuff, and English papers tailored around aeronautical stuff. And I'm like, how is that a gen ed? That's not a gen ed. They're literally forcing you to take aeronautical courses that doesn't correspond with the degree you're getting. Like, you're going for management in a, God forbid, you think I'd remember, in some sort of IT form. And here she is,
she's
just
better off minoring in fucking aeronautical.
and she eventually got her associates. Don't get me wrong, but that's after years of dealing with, I like it, dealing with writing English papers and math papers on aeronautical math and grammar shit. I'm like, how does that help you with IT? That
Also,
doesn't help you at all with IT.
if you don't know the right people in your college or like the school you're going to, they could fuck you.
Mhm.
Like you need to be taking the right courses and talking to the right people to actually set yourself up for success. And a lot of the time, you'll have an advisor that has no idea how to manage you or what you
Yeah.
need to get done. Like I had to take like 4 extra courses in my final semester just because my advisor dropped the ball and didn't help me realize that I needed to be doing additional things.
But let's be fair. Did he really drop the ball, or did he just find a way to make the college more money?
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you.
It costed you extra credit hours, right?
And it didn't cost me more. It's like to be full time, you have to take. It didn't cost me more out of pocket, but I did have more credit hours. Like I had a fuck ton of credit hours.
The college didn't take any sort of money at all. Like,
Yeah.
you were there on the GI, so
So
they were
GI,
they probably hiked that money up.
I get EAP with the guard, so that was the fucking, the college incentive money that you can get, and
Yeah.
I had financial aid through the state, and as long as I had enough credits, I think it was like 15 credits to be considered a full time student. That was the flat rate, so I could take as many courses as I want, as long as I hit full time student status. Like there was nothing additional added on.
Yeah, like I look at the college institutions anymore, and it has actually become my biggest driving factor now to not go to it.
Yeah.
Is that college is nothing more than a business. College at this point is nothing more than Facebook, is nothing more than just same thing as Facebook, same thing as a big business. Like they make millions of dollars off of tax incentives, off of government funding, government like tuition stuff that they get from students, because federal government took over a majority of like lending from the banks because they quote unquote, oh, the banks are bad, the banks are ripping people off, blah blah blah, so we're gonna do it. And that's a problem because now now the federal government is accruing debt and loans off of people, and people are stuck not paying them back because their teacher in high school told them to go for a liberal arts degree because that's fucking good for you.
Most useless fucking degrees in school.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. And kids went and did that, and now they have shit tons of debt and no way of seeing out of it.
Like the only courses I can actually say are worth it are anything with engineering or IT involved. Like science.
Even then though, I feel like we go back to what Church was saying with some sort of apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Engineering, that kind of stuff. If you wanted to learn microbiology, for instance, instead of going to school and sitting down and getting that textbook, why not have an apprenticeship program like they do in the trades?
Yeah.
If you want to be a doctor, yeah, you're going to spend what is it? I mean, for a lawyer, you got like what 6 to 8 years of law school, and then you're not even going to be. Odds are you're not even going to be learning the law that you're wanting to practice.
Yeah.
So why not apprentice under if you want to learn property law, I guess they have internships, but you still got to do all that bullshit college stuff. And then go there. Why?
Or look up what certificates you can get. Like there's stuff like Security Plus. You might have gone and done that.
Yeah.
But maybe you went dry with the Army because I don't know if they were pushing for that some places. Or you can get like networking. You can get like AWS for what Amazon Web Services. Like companies love that shit.
Yeah.
Like
Because
resume.
everything's run by computers anymore. The army, the nursing, medical, it's all run by computers anymore. One thing I will say, like when it comes to like trade stuff, so like welding, automotive, even cooking, like come on. Like that stuff you can learn with an apprenticeship. When it comes to science stuff like biology and stuff like that, I could see, maybe at least a basic with college. Like you go to college and you learn just the basics of biology, and then they look at you and they say, okay, now we're gonna hook you up with some extra like quote unquote like I guess apprenticeship like style learning where they'll send you out to like a place and they're like, hey, obviously with your tuition money, of course, to go learn from this biologist, this insert asshole with high degree, to go learn from him, and that's how you spread out and you learn. Instead they hook you in and they just keep sucking the money out of you. And, what did you learn out of it all? Like Rio, like when you got your degree, you literally sat down and told me you don't remember a goddamn thing.
Oh,
Like
fuck no, I don't. I'm not even using my degree for my job.
that's terrible. That is fucking terrible. How long did you go to school for? And you sat down and looked at me and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I learned in all this time. Like, that is a fucking ripoff. Like, you should come out of there like fucking Albert Einstein and be slam dunking on these little kids in high school. Like, no, you come out and you're like, wow, I still only remember the shit in high school. Like,
No, not to get it wrong. I learned things, but I'm not really using any of that. Like, it's all basic general information that I learned with my degree.
Well, like there's a
Like nothing specialized on anything. Like I got a well-rounded kind of idea of what IT is.
like you guys remember when I was in that kick of doing all that advanced animation bullshit right on
Yeah.
Adobe. Well, I was learning all my shit from a guy named Andrew Kramer. He's known in every industry of movies and 3D animation.
Or
'Cause
like
he's-
YouTube stuff. Or,
Yeah, I was just doing his little tutorials, and he goes, he did an interview with another guy whose name is YouTube persona wise at least is Blender Guru or whatever. Anyway,
I heard about that stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Well, the guy was like, so Andrew Kramer, when it comes, because he owns a full blown multi-billion-dollar now animation industry now, but he goes, when it comes to hiring animators, would you rather hire someone who did all of your tutorials and can show you or can do all the stuff that you're telling them to do and tweak it their own way, or would you rather someone who went to school for 8 years?
I don't want to interrupt you, but are you urinating or fucking with the turtles right now?
I'm
They hope it's number 2. Please be
can't-
number 2.
I can't be
it's
the
the
only
turtles.
one that heard that shit in the
I
background.
heard
It's
all of that.
the water is the turtles. The water is the turtles.
Sure.
did I didn't even hear that.
I think Coop
Didn't
gave us
hear
an
any of
out
that.
here, and I'm
Okay.
all about that out. so-
Turtles. Turtles.
Hey, so one thing I will say is I enjoyed our conversation to begin with here, but I
We were
hate
way
to be
off
that guy,
topic.
but our current podcast title is the current state of gaming, current state of games.
Not
So
not careers.
maybe we
Look
should.
at the time.
We've been talking for 39 minutes now about not our topic. So
Yeah, we should probably have somebody in charge of keeping us on track here.
But that's what
Yeah,
makes it
at
entertaining.
the end of the day, like what me and Icky really wanted with this was to have good conversation. So I think we hit that pretty good on the head. But let's hop into our topic here. So guys, current state of games.
And so I guess we're gonna start off with doing little intros of each other, because no one knows any one of us except for we know all four of each other, kind of. So
Know that I hate college. We learned that.
right. So I guess if we want to start with church, kind of
All right. Well,
distracted.
You want to do this?
kick it off. My name is Church. I currently serving in the active duty army up in Alaska. I've been playing games for the last 15 years. I started out on Xbox with Rio here, and eventually made my way to meet Coop and Icky here. And kind of one day decided that I wanted to try and get a podcast going, and we've all been talking about it. And this is the start of it.
Good
Hi,
intro.
Church.
Good intro.
Alright. Should I go next since I'm the other quote host
Yeah.
before the guests?
Yeah.
So I'm Iggy, Doc Iggy. I was Army and then I lost a lot of brain cells and joined the Navy, and I regret every bit of it. I'm a corpsman with the Navy, which sucks. I know Coop from the Army. I don't know these two from the Army because it's a big army. But yeah, I'm here. Hi.
How you doing, Icky? It's good. It's good going. How long you been playing games, man?
Longer than some of the people on this stream have been alive.
Be honest,
I-
how old are you?
I'm 36, so I started playing when I was 5.
It's that back pain and arthritis.
Hey, it's a real thing.
The carpal tunnel.
Hey, I still top frag over some of y'all.
You're right. You're right.
So I guess Rio, since you got a camera, and then we'll go to Coop last.
Hi. So yeah, I'm Rio. I was in the National Guard Field Artillery for about 9 years. I just got out because fuck the army. I've been gaming with church for a long time. I'd say what, middle school is when we started out playing games like Battlefront, that kind of stuff. Closer to high
yeah,
school.
yeah, give or take. Kind of. It didn't really start out with gaming. It was really
It was
more or
Star
less.
Wars.
It
It was Star Wars.
was Star Wars. We met when I lived at my grandmother's house, and kind of like I was in my Star Wars craze at that young age, and that's when I met this guy.
That young
You know,
age, that's
hanging
never
out.
gone away.
I man child.
Yes. But yeah, and what is it? I do reenacting stuff now, so I do a lot of Signal Corps stuff because that's what I did with the field artillery. And I try to get on and play games with these guys when I can, which is really just finagling my schedule. But yeah, hello.
How you doing, Rio? It's good to meet you, buddy.
Hi,
I'm glad
Coop.
that we got to meet you. This was very informative.
And then we have Cooper. Cooper.
So, let's see. I was in the army for 10 years. I met Icky in the army. I didn't meet these guys until we formed the WPO Gaming. So we started out. I was started on Atari playing Pong, and way back in the day. Got my first Nintendo when I was in kindergarten, and I've been kind of hooked on video games ever since. Recently made the switch over to PC, like within the last couple of years here. So hopefully we get some good conversation about some good video games, and so we have a plethora of experience between console and PC between the four of us. So we'll have a nice long conversation, I'm sure, about that crap.
Pretty much. So
Yeah.
where we were gonna go from there, because like anyone who plays games has I would argue 1 to 2 games that is like the game that hooked them, no matter what, whether it was on Nintendo or whatever. But specifically for first-person shooters, I would say first-person shooters as a main hook, because that's mainly what all of us play together. So
I think it goes even deeper than that for me, because shooters in general. So Contra got me stuck on shooter games. The scrolling, shoot things, kill the boss, move on, and then graphics got better, point of view got better. So Contra for me was that game.
For a lot of us too, is like games got better. Call of Duty was what really woke people in because of that World War II scenario.
The first game I could think about playing was when I was younger. We had a Sega Genesis. I don't know why we had a Sega Genesis. My parents never really let me play it, other than occasionally. It was the Terminator Judgment Day, kind of like first person. You kind of look around and like the little crosshair zooms around the screen. You shoot the Terminators. And then there was the Jurassic Park games that were out because that was big during those times.
Yeah.
Those are the first games I really played. But the games that really hooked me into gaming, once we started getting older, my parents, started, openly, we moved out towards the PA area, and once we moved away from my grandparents, and they started buying us things like PlayStation 2s and the original Xbox. Halo is what really hooked me in. What really brought me into the multiplayer was finally my parents said, okay, we'll get you an Xbox 360, we'll set you up with Live and Halo 3. and then Rio had Halo 3, and then some other buddies
Yeah.
of ours had Halo 3, and then from there it was nothing but a swift and fast introduction from Halo 3 to Call of Duty to Gears of War and to Battlefield, and from there it all just kind of really started.
We had a whole group with Halo 3 too.
And with Battlefield, yeah.
And with Battlefield Bad Company 2 when that came out. But Bad Company 1 really sunk us in. Because
Yeah.
that whole like what was it? It was the evolution of gaming with the way that they have what is it Levolution that they'd call it? You could just blow up anything.
Well, it was more back in a time when
Yeah.
gaming was actually legit. Like the people who made the games actually gave a shit, and they weren't
Yeah.
just following a formula of how to hook people in and drain them of their parents' money. Like if you wanted something for a gun, you fought for it. You didn't buy a magical loot box and pray that you got it. You actually like I had to kill 25 people to unlock the tiger stripes on my M4 in Call of Duty. I wanted to make that rank in Halo 3 because that was the badass thing to be that high rank. Well, I had to go and play Lone Wolf by myself. I had to go and get a team together and do Team Slayer. Like you had to like work for that shit. There was incentive to work behind it. Now now games are just lazily done for an algorithm by some economist who's telling them, "Hey, this is how you make money."
By
Right.
somebody who went to college for that.
Yeah, somebody who went to college. Yeah.
What about you, Icky? What got you hooked, man?
Well, Coob, you know this one easily on my side. So the one game that got me at least into first-person shooters was an old game called Delta Force. It was a PC-only game. I'm pulling up the images of all of our shit. But so essentially it was like Battlefield before Battlefield was Battlefield. Like I played the Battlefield 1942 beta because we won a tournament on this game. And we thought it was crap because it was not very well put together. But
You got a video you can share of that? I'm curious. Delta Force.
yeah.
Delta
Got me
Force was
thinking of Medal of Honor name.
so. I mean, Delta Force was a really good game. I will
Let's go
give
help
you
people
that.
customize
I
and save
never
with Liberty
personally played it.
Mutual.
I watched people play it because
Okay, who
when I was
said
younger,
my
I could
desk?
not grasp
Man, I wish I found
using
this
two
proof.
hands away from each other to control everything. Like if I didn't have that controller in my hands, I couldn't do it. And I mean, my uncle was huge into video games. We were coming up, like he was just a big kid. So when Nintendo came out, oh, you guys got to get to this Nintendo. Have you played this game? Ninja Turtles and that kind of stuff. And then like Church and Rio were saying, that Levolution, the evolution of games completely. I remember sitting playing GoldenEye for
Oh,
hours.
GoldenEye.
That was a game.
That was the
That was
shit.
a game.
Yeah, 007's GoldenEye was the greatest multiplayer first-person shooter, hands down. Period.
Watch my fucking screen, you.
I think Church. We used to play against the AI on that game too. I think it was.
We had a lot of we had the GameCube stuff
Yeah.
where we would do the AI stuff. One game I will never forget too is and it's not necessarily a first person shooter, but it is a game that I sit here and I hold as the golden standard for more newer games of this category like Star Wars. Star Wars. There's the Knights of the Old Republic games. I didn't play those till more recently when I started getting into Steam. But games like Star Wars Rogue Squadron or Rogue Squadron like Rebel Strike, like those games were like awesome to play. It was all based on like fighter, Star Wars fighter stuff. So it was like legit. You're like flying around in some of the most iconic battles in Star Wars, like the Battle of the Second Death Star. You're flying around. It was awesome. That was such a good feeling to do that I had to go and buy a Wii to like run that game again, and actually bought the GameCube game. I then kind of moved on and adulted and got into emulating it and stuff like that. But
Like
that
that was our
awesome.
game on the weekend would roll around because
Okay.
that's when Church and I would really see each other. Like that was the thing that we play consistently.
So
Yeah, I mean, really. Go ahead, Icky.
no, good.
See, really, before the internet, You know,
Yeah.
when we would all get together and we would sit down and we'd play split screen on the old Xboxes or the Nintendo 64. You know, that was what really got me hooked. Like, you know, it was great. You know, we were probably elementary school, Icky, when we would go over to friends' houses and have a LAN party. You know, uh, having that kind of stuff going on. And I remember all the way up until my younger mid 20s, we would have Xboxes and stuff like that hooked up in a house, and we would just be playing just against each other. We'd have two teams in Halo. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of Halo because of the way that people play other shooter games like they're playing Halo.
60 no scope.
Yeah, but that kind of stuff was just that's what got me into gaming. The community of gamers, and it was everybody. You know, everybody played games. It was something that everybody had in common.
Well, see, for me, before Delta Force specifically, so in, I would say 94, 95, somewhere in that weird window of time,
Yeah, just before you two up there were born.
basically.
Hey now, hey now.
But
Yeah, you're old. We know.
I went over to my growing up years best friend's uncle's house, and so my best friend's from California. He would come to Florida every year to spend the summer with his grandma, essentially. And when he would come in, we'd go to his uncle's house. Well, the first year we did that, the same night we LAN partied and played Warcraft 1, Diablo 1, Doom 1, Duke Nukem, and I was introduced to Civilization, the original. All in the same night, all LAN partied, except for obviously Civilization, because it wasn't a LAN party thing. But that night, I feel personally has influenced every game I've played since, because I'm always playing some kind of RPG. I'm always playing a shooter, because we can't deny that Doom, Duke Nukem, Wolfenstein, Quaken aren't the grandfathers of all PC gaming when it comes to shooting.
Oh,
Now-
yeah, I'll give you that.
I'll argue that Contra was before them. But
I mean, Doom was the first PC game that I tried to play.
right. And
I was horrible at it, but I tried.
I'm still horrible at it.
I think the first PC first-person shooter game that I played seriously was Rainbow Six Siege. I was one of those sad diehard Xbox fanatics, but once I realized that I had so much more control on a PC, there were 10 times more better games and more indie game developers out there, that I wasn't just stuck with AAA garbage anymore. I was on my way out of Xbox. Like, I still have an Xbox, and at this point, I don't know why I still have it, because pretty much everything's becoming cross-compatible, so I don't have to worry. If I want to play Halo with somebody on Xbox, I'm good. I got it. I'm fine.
And that sounds like a good segue into the next topic.
Well, actually, I was gonna. So, Church, you mentioned me trying to pull up a video of that.
Yeah,
So,
I want to see Delta Force.
so I
I do too.
I can play it on our stream. I don't know how well I'd be able to get it to you guys otherwise.
Yeah, give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah. Are you
Good
all
old
able to
college
pull up
try.
the YouTube thingy?
I'm on the stream right now. Yeah.
Okay. So get past an ad.
This is gonna be great for a computer player. How do I pull up the YouTubes?
YouTube.
What buttons do I push again? How does the
All the
internet
buttons.
work?
All right. So this is the
Report
dude.
Don't forget to smash that like
Why don't we
button.
call
And also comment down below.
Mark Zuckerberg? He'll come and tell us how to work the internets.
What am I searching for here?
If you go to Facebook and go to my, give me a second. If you go to Facebook and just go to my profile, it's the last post that I did. Just hit the link.
You're killing me, Gladys. Freaking killing me. Now I gotta pull out the old cell phone because the Facebooks doesn't work on the computer. You know,
What
viruses
about,
and stuff.
I don't know. It's paused right now, but it looks pretty good on the stream.
Like, yeah, like the game. Like, granted, we're working with like 99 graphics at best. I had 28 megs of video RAM and thought I was the
Meg.
shit.
Megs.
I think actually that was after this, actually. Now I think about it. I don't even know what I had. This is back when we daisy chained 414.4 modems. And
The good old times.
Dial-up internet gaming, man.
because if you daisy chain 14.4 modems, they would actually triple the speed of what they were doing. It would burn out, but you know, if you needed to get into a unregistered system,
Back during the good times. You know, before the dark times, before the empire, you know.
before Snowden ruined everything for everyone. Back when I was probably
Yeah.
teaching Snowden how to do stuff.
Was it? I don't think Snowden's the only one. Huh?
That'd be wild.
Fucking.
Actually,
Yeah,
how
Mark
old is Snowden?
How-, screwing it up.
Let's see. Let's-
However old he is when he doesn't age in Russia, so whatever.
He hadn't aged at all, actually.
You know what Delta Force honestly reminds me of? Like the graphics, so much before its time. It reminds me of the first Halo game. Like when you guys
Does.
watch, when you guys watch the movements and that kind of stuff, it's very Halo-esque. Like the guys who worked on Halo were Delta Force fans. So
So I'm gonna play this through.
Okay.
It's only 4 minutes,
Okay.
and this is from the first game in '98 through 2009.
Oh man, it's a whole series of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. I think I was gonna actually buy the Black Hawk Down one at one point. I don't know what talked me out of it.
It was bad.
it was.
It was bad.
I mean,
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll get it. You know what? Like, for as goofy as it is, and like the graphics aren't what it is, I guarantee you that was probably a much more wholesome game than what you see nowadays.
Oh yeah, there wasn't
Like-
no blood.
Like wholesome, like. Well, I
It's
don't just mean in that regard. Like, there probably was no blood because it just the graphics weren't with that time. But I mean, like, the game as a whole was more like together. It was more like you didn't have like the shit you have nowadays in games where like they'll literally launch a broken ass game for the full price and then have the fucking god to sit down and be like, hey, will you buy this loot crate? It'll help make the game better.
So this building here, it's actually funny. So this building is where I tried out for that first team I ever played on. It was me versus 17 people.
Wow.
What goofy shit is that?
They wanted to see how I could do because I had only been playing the game for a week.
That's not surprising. That was actually like, game teams were like, hey, you want to join our team? Well, you need to go get a perfection in one round of like Team Slayer. Go.
this clip feels like Doomish.
Looks very
Yeah.
Doomish.
Yeah, the graphics are horrible, but
Wait, really though? If you think about the time of the game, though, they are not that bad.
oh, and like the game actually had wind and bullet drop.
Really?
Yeah, you actually had to I would snipe 900 meters and have to do like 4 clicks up on the scope.
Hold up.
Yeah, they were doing this back in the day, and now we got game companies who are like, look at the bullet drop and the windage, ugh, and you're like, yeah, that's off. You got like people like jumping out of their fucking pants, being like, there's a drop, oh my god.
You're like
yeah.
sniping from helicopters and stuff on Battlefield. That
That was easy.
this because their bullet trajectory and stuff like that it's fun. Not gonna lie, but the bullet trajectory on some of these older games, I mean, it was ridiculous. Trying to figure out how to do it, and I still catch myself today, like overleading targets because I don't know how the bullet trajectory works on games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's so janky anymore that it's weird.
And no two games are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Battlefield.
What
was
is
pretty
that?
good at keeping-
I've never seen this. It's a mobile game in 2006.
Oh, ooh, that's ugly.
That is
Ugh.
rough.
And you said it's mobile. That's even worse.
Yeah, 2006. So
2006 though, so that's like on the old the
Oh, Game Boy.
kick,
Game
the
Boy.
kick phone, you know, your T-Mobile kick or
I'm
whatever
killing
it's
the
called.
rest of that.
That's fine.
We don't need mobile.
There used to be a Rainbow Six mobile that was
Oh, wait,
that
wait,
looked
wait.
just like that. It was
There is
top
a
down.
2008 version. One second, let me bring the back up.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus! I'm gonna kill this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Look at this 2008 version. What I
2008.
found.
Oh, I can't see it now.
I just popped it back up.
Look, guys, look what I found. Oh God, look at that! Look at that rifle. The rifle that never
Where it is?
came to be. The rifle that they made to replace the M4, but for some reason that shit didn't happen.
Right.
Alright, anyway.
It was a neat concept, I guess.
Yeah.
A modular rifle. Now we just get a big 6.8, is it? This big ass fucking rifle that you look at people like shouldering and you're like, that gun is longer than your fucking arms. What the fuck are you gonna do with that shit?
Right. But yeah.
Thing is a goddamn sniper rifle. It's not a fucking. That's not a room clear. That's a fucking sniper rifle.
Like the graphics
But
for that.
maybe we don't know, guys. Maybe real life is like going to fucking Tarkov logic. You know, 20-inch barrel clearing dorms.
Right.
Whole squad of SVDs. Let's go.
Well, I guess going over old games. I guess we can use that as the. No, I don't think we should move on yet because I sent you the link, Icky. I definitely want to cover it. Did you guys ever play the Medal of Honor game? I mean, like the
Yeah,
Medal of
definitely.
Honor game, like
Who
the one
didn't?
based on Afghanistan, not Warfighter, not
The
all
Desert
those
Storm one?
Warward. No, not the Desert Storm one.
Oh, the new one. The one
The
that
new
came out
one.
in like 2012 or something like that.
That's
No,
Warfighter.
2010. No, it's 2010. 2010.
Is it
So-
2010?
One second.
So before we play the video, like this is what I say, like when games had more of a wholesome like thing to them, where they actually had like real
Just tell me a link.
concepts and stuff to it. Well, Icky's gonna play like a video from it. It should remind you. It's one of my favorite missions. Also, like probably one of the most like real, like hard hitting things to me as to what it is. So I'm just gonna read it as it, as the overall thing for the campaign. So the overall campaign reads as
I'm gonna play it through while you're doing that.
hold on, don't do it yet. So the game takes off right after, the story is right after September 11th, the attack on the World Trade Centers. You play as a DevGru team that went into Afghanistan, and you also have an aspect where you play as the Rangers. The concept, like the story is kind of loosely based on events that occurred during Operation Anaconda that took place in March 2002, 6 months after 9/11. Specifically the siege of Bagram Airfield and the Battle of Shaikat and the Battle of Tarkagar. So it's meant to be during that time. This game caught a lot of controversy. I remember finding a video on Fox News, and it was some Golden Star wife on there talking about how dare EA and all these people make a game where you can play as the Taliban and kill American troops. That was the big fight. Like, they actually, like, I remember the controversy from it because I had it long before any of that sort of stuff. Like, they actually banned it on military bases. They banned this game on military bases in 2010 because it gave the perspective and multiplayer of US versus Taliban. And there was a whole bunch of conflicting ideas between playing as the Taliban and killing US troops, and then, fundamentalizing the idea of killing people,
This came out
killing
when we were in basic.
Isn't this the one that was re-released and instead of Taliban they changed it to Op 4 or something like
Yeah,
that?
that
Was-
thing.
Yeah, they ended up changing it to Op 4, but the game was based on the Afghan conflict, so you knew to yourself, you're like, no, this isn't this,
Yeah.
isn't that, and whatnot. You knew what it was, but this game holds a special place in my heart as someone who went to Afghanistan multiple times, saw this war for what it was. Sadly, I missed the the times of the war when it was door kicking and running the enemy down. That all very much ceased by the time I got there. I had managed to join up 2012, so pretty much about the time that President Obama was elected, and they started us on the path to Operation Resolute Support, it's called RS, but Operation Freedom Sentinel. Rio, I just sent you the link so you can watch it. Coop, if you want, I can send it to you too.
I think Iggy's gonna play it. I believe
Yeah, I
I
got it.
played this game.
I think I have too, honestly.
Like this game, like to me, like it sucks that it got the hatred that it got, because it gave you a perspective that you don't see anymore in games. Everyone just wants World War II, or they want some sort of like ridiculously modernized game, or futurized game with crazy gameplay. Like this game was very down to earth. So I'll stop talking, let everyone be able to hear this.
I have something to point out right here. The footage here is the exact, almost timing and footage, if you take away some of the bodies, of what they're using in Warzone. I'm gonna start that over so y'all can see.
Is there like actual audio for this so we could hear it, or?
Yeah. There you go.
I'm not going to get anybody into a copyright deal with it.
No,
This is coming off of somebody else's YouTube.
I think we're good. It's also got his thing there.
Hope you like Ford Foods. Hernandez, ready to let the big dog bark? Yeah! Woof, woof, woof. Oh, fuck this. I seen this movie. Private, switch with
Yeah, this is the game that like during this scene where you're coming in, he's like reading a letter he wrote home to his girlfriend or something.
No.
Or so.
I
There,
think that's an older one.
is it older?
Let's get to work. Go to red! What do you got? What do you got? Yeah, I got nothing. No targets. Rear is clear!
Markham Gold Digger, one customers are dropped off.
One free fire teams, 30 meters apart. Mission is to make our way to BP Ginger. Watch your fires. We are engaging combatants only. What the hell?
It really wasn't that bad when it launched either.
Oh, awesome game.
It was a great game.
Like this is the game that got me stuck on the Rush Conquest style gameplay.
Yeah.
This way, come on.
Oh, that stuff was great.
I got it. Go! Go!
This was right around the time when Battlefield 3 was
Taliban
launching,
serving us today.
I think.
The shit went bad quick.
I think I remember that now.
Here it is. What's your plan, Sarge? First
I remember I wanted this game over the Battlefield game, so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that Rush game, you were like throwing bodies at the objective. And you had to work as a team to get anywhere.
Roger. Move to higher ground. Get eyes on the situation and get some cash on these assholes. Roger that.
Like to this day, like I watch this video and it gives me chills. It's crazy. Like look at that graphics. Look at the whole point behind the story of this game was, you fought as a team. At the end of the game, you felt like, holy crap, one of the operators died. It was like heart-wrenching. It was a heart-wrenching fight, like throughout the game. You don't get this in a campaign anymore. You don't get like this kind of effort into games anymore. Because this kind of effort, this kind of hard-pressed storytelling isn't the thing anymore. Like, look at Call of Duty. Like, what is Call of Duty other than a nostalgia boater riding? That's all it is. Like, look, guys, it's Captain Price. It's Captain Price. Look, guys, you understand? It's fucking Captain Price. And it's like, I don't give a fuck if it's Santa Claus. I don't fucking care. That storyline ended about 10 fucking years ago. And they keep cramming it in there because that's the formula. And now everything is just the same fucking insert formula. Like, look, they ended that game with like, I need this guy. He's got the folder, and he's like, I want these people. And he starts going through the names, and it's like, look, his name is, nickname Soap. And it's like, thanks. Fucking thank you. That's what I fucking wanted. More nostalgia nonsense. Like that's all that games are built off anymore. It's not built off of, actual
sell it.
people trying to tell a story. Like, don't get me wrong, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare story wasn't bad, but it was just a recreation to tell you a story before another story. That's all it was.
We're on a nostalgia trend right now as well. The way
Yeah.
businesses are running, because they know that's what's going to sell their product.
That being said, though, like, the Bad Company, playing Bad Company, you felt those characters. Those
Oh, yeah.
characters, you wanted to follow those guys. You wanted to see what happened with those. Some of the Bad Company games, like some of the COD games, I still play for the story because I want to see what they're doing. I want to see where the story goes. Like, not necessarily because I want that nostalgia trip, but because I want to, I want to see what they did, like Advanced Warfighter or whatever it was, where you had like you could run on walls and crap. Not necessarily my idea of a good game, but the storyline, investing in the time with those other characters and stuff like that. That being said, it probably suffered big time because of certain, big name celebrities that they got for voiceovers and stuff like that in the game. But I like seeing some of the story that they do. Like, honestly, I don't think Call of Duty's had a good storyline since the Modern Warfare games.
Yeah.
Like back to Church's point, they keep rebooting that storyline, right? Like with Soap and that, but like with Bad Company, like 1 and 2, it was a continuation. So
Yeah.
you were looking forward to the next chapter of how the story was going to play out.
Well, that's how Modern
And
Warfare
that's what
1.
made it like charming, right? Like, you had the same characters, and they actually knew what was going on. Like they got a little meta with it because why not? It's a cute game, but it
But I
was
mean,
awesome.
like with Halo, you're Master Chief, and you're
Yeah,
Master Chief the whole time you're playing that game.
yeah.
So that you see the character development, you see how Master Chief, the cutscenes and stuff like that. That's okay. You're not going back and playing. Okay, well, we're going to learn how Master Chief joined the fucking USEC, whatever the hell it is. We're not doing that. We're just playing Halo.
It's like every Batman movie ever. They always tell you how Batman became Batman.
I think we'd be hard pressed to find anybody who does not know Batman's origin story.
Exactly. Same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They finally got that shit right in Marvel now. They're like, we're just not going to tell you this story again. The fucking Batman versus Superman. He's got Martha. Why'd you say that name? It's like everything. Fucking Batman, Superman even. It's all fucking same shit. It's crazy.
But if A plus B sells, use A plus B. I mean, unfortunately that's the world that we live in.
Yeah. And that's like the sad part of it is that like they play on nostalgia because I guess the sad thing is nostalgia sells in some way. It really does. Like I don't know how I can't really recall how I felt about Call of Duty. Like at first I kind of got like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one. I kind of got excited about it, but then once I started playing the game, I was kind of like, I don't give a fuck about any of these people on this game. Like in the story, like, oh no, homeboy's gonna blow himself up to save everybody. Oh well, bye.
Oh, but I mean, on that aspect, it does sell because at the beginning, hey, you get to see Captain Price again, and you get to see the team start to come together, kind of thing. Uh, like it makes it so that other games are available. You kind of it does kind of play off your nostalgia a little bit of the games for um the storyline anymore because multiplayer is so prevalent. But like Arma, for instance, people are playing Arma because of how the last games were, and it's reminding them so much of how it was, and now it looks so much better. I want to get back into it and play it. Conan Exile. There's so many games that I play now that I wouldn't play, but because when I was a kid, I remember watching Conan and how badass it was.
Nothing like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger bang fucking naked chicks, Let's go play that game.
But I mean, Rising Storm Vietnam. That game. What hooked me on that was the soundtrack. Just watching the Hueys fly over and stuff like that, and then you see the napalm blowing up in the jungles, and they're playing that iconic 60s rock. I was like, you know what? I want to play this just so I can listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah, Battlefield Bad Company had that Vietnam DLC, and that was amazing.
It was great. Oh.
And then I guess that's another segue to current games. Like, I have a buddy that would argue otherwise on this one, but back when Halo 3 came out and Battlefield Bad Company was at its peak before Battlefield 3 and so on, like, games released DLC very differently than they do now. Halo 3 had, they sold the map bundles. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare sold the map bundles. Battlefield Bad Company would just drop the map bundles, and then they dropped, the whole Vietnam DLC. Like, those were, like, huge things. Like, I remember, and again with Rio, we played Battlefield Bad Company like it was our jobs. Like, we really got into that stuff, like games nowadays don't do that. Games nowadays, like, they sell you everything based on battle passes and whatnot. And I hate the practice. I understand it. Again, it's like we all agree that nostalgia sells. Well, battle passes sell too, sadly. Because
unfortunately, that battle pass, when it first came out, it seemed like such a good idea. You're going to get every DLC that releases for this. Well, okay, that's cool. Well, then, okay, we're only going to release 4 DLCs for this game, and we're going to make another one because we got to push out a new title in 6 months.
Siege.
So see, that's where, like, part of what we want to talk about is like and since we're on Call of Duty, because Call of Duty went. Yeah, Call of Duty for a while when obviously I was starting with it. So, Call of Duty World at War was a thing for, I would argue, almost 2 years on its own.
Yeah.
And then Modern Warfare came. It was a thing for about 2 years.
About 18 months to 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, and then Modern Warfare 2 came out, and it stuck for a minute. I don't even remember how long it was. I know I had played it before I joined the military. Was in Florida, moved up from Florida to Kentucky, moved back to Kentucky, joined the Army, and was still playing it. So that's a good minute.
And that's before this battle pass shit. It was before these companies decided they needed to crank out titles every 6 to 8 months. Now, Black Ops and Call of Duty are, they're two separate entities, but every 6 months there's a Call of Duty title that drops. You're going to have a Black Ops title, and then 6 months after that you're going to have a regular Call of Duty. So that game lasts for a year, and then they have the new one. When we had games that were, they actually put some thought into, and they made these games, and it was 18 months to 2 years, where they were giving us content and stuff like that to help. One, it helped the dev team focus on their new game before releasing this, here's a broken game, you guys play it and just pay us so that we can make that game better. It came out good. Yeah, there was bugs. Yeah, there was problems. There was patches and stuff like that had to be done. But it was at such a different time that we actually had fun with these games. Now it's, I sit down and I play a game. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter how I feel about this game, because in 6 months they're going to release a reveal trailer for the next one.
Yeah.
Or better yet, let me insert this bit. And, this will probably chomp off as political because nowadays everything is political. We're at an unprecedented time, at least in my lifetime growing up, where, and I'll just say it because I have no other way to explain it, because it's not just video games, it's everything. Like, we're at an unprecedented time, and at least, again, my lifetime, I don't know about y'all's, where these big corporations and all these other entities They don't give a shit. They don't. They don't care. They don't care what anybody has to say. You know, you go ahead and critique a game negatively in any way. Hey, this bug really screwed the game up. I don't want to play it anymore. And then you get a message, good, you racist bigot, don't play our game. You know, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, where, how is it? And that it's not every game, but we're at an unprecedented point where these companies don't care about fixing the game. Because it's not the game that's broken, it's you that's broken, and you need to be fixed. Battlefield 5 was like one of the biggest ones in that nature where, you know, the World War II critics came out, and everyone was like, this game is garbage. And every one of those people, even Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, and people hated it. And immediately the bigot title, the sexist title started getting chucked around like crazy. And everyone's like, no, you just made a shitty game that you lied to us. You lied to us. You told us, like, for Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was supposed to be an Imperial story. It wasn't an Imperial story. You played as a quote-unquote special operations stormtrooper for, like, 2 levels, and then by that point, you're already a rebel. You know, they sold the game as this Imperial war machine victories and winning, and that's not what happened.
Yep.
Okay, when people fought against that, you just got called a bigot. When people lashed out about Battlefield 5, like, why is there a woman with a prosthetic arm? And that dude has a samurai sword. Why do they look like something out of steampunk? What the hell? What Battlefield is this? What World War II is this? And it just came with the insults and the, you know, the political infighting and the, you know, somebody coming out being like, I just wanted to show my daughter that she could fight, that women could fight in World War II. And everyone was like, cool, but what? You know, it turned into this big fucking shamble, and I see Rio's kind of giving me this, like, he's going to disagree with me slightly, but that's the way I remember seeing these things.
My disagreement's more on the, I heard more of the, it's a video game kind of response. Like, not really like words being thrown around, but who gives a fuck if it's a video game? Like, you can change things around. But at the same time, I never agreed with it, because if you're making a game about history, make it look like it's from that history, you know? Like Call of Duty, right? The new Call of Duty World War II game came out, they got rid of the Nazi flag. Completely threw it away.
Right.
It wasn't even a symbol. Like, what is that? Like, you're completely whitewashing it for some reason. Like, just erasing it. Like, it's, you don't want people to see that imagery. Like, you're afraid of how they're going to look at it. Like, the fucking Nazis existed. They were there. Like, you want to hide it?
They did horrible fucking things to people.
Yeah. But we can't show the flag because, you know, the company's not allowed to or whatever. We're trying to, like, be PC about it.
The same thing that goes back to that Medal of Honor game.
Yeah.
You know, because on release, you know, I remember watching the video on YouTube. You know, you're going to play as American forces, either Rangers, Navy SEALs, you know, Delta. You know, you're going to play as these American forces, or you're going to play as the Taliban. And then all of a sudden, oh, we can't say that. We can't. You know, I understand that in today's day and age, there are sensitive people who are very sensitive to it. I also understand that there was concern that this game was so real that veterans playing this game would remember and have flashbacks and, you know, PTSD and that kind of stuff. You know, on one hand, you know, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, I'm glad that people are thinking about that community and don't want to cause any undue harm. But on the other hand, this shit happened. People need to know about it, you know. It's going to sound very strange coming from me because, you know, I think that media and news outlets and stuff like that have absolutely no place in, you know, the war.
But absolutely.
People want to know what's going on in the world. People want to know that kind of stuff until they see the dark truth. Now, that being said, that dark truth does not change because you're worried that you're going to offend somebody. That dark truth is still there.
I mean, not to step over here, Coop, but you just brought up like something I remembered. Like, the games we're talking about, like Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor was the first time that they brought like a popular war into the media, like the first-person shooter, so like the World War II media, and that got a lot of backlash from veterans.
Yep.
Like just communities of people that are going, "Why are you trying to glorify war and let people live through this?" Like that
Yep.
kind of thing. And now it's such a staple of our gaming culture, like playing World War II games.
Yeah,
And
it's
just to see where it's gotten to at this point.
well, and you know, I distinctly remember. So everybody went back to World War II.
Yeah.
I personally think the funnest games I've ever played are the Vietnam-esque games. You know, Vietnam was a shitty war. You know, it's very recent in our history, but I think they should make more of those games. The fighting styles and stuff like that. You know, they're amazing games. The scenery in the games is just absolutely beautiful. You know, it's different because I guess it's so recent, you know, and I think that the Medal of Honor game got a bad rap because of how recent it really was, how fresh in everybody's mind it really was. So,
Do you remember
Well-
that game that came out? What was it called? Homefront? Where it
Yeah.
was supposed to be against China
It was North Korea.
or North Korea, was it?
Yeah,
then-
somehow the nation-state equivalent of the short bus managed to unite a whole continent and take over the United States.
Because I know, like, it was supposed to be one country, and then they changed it because that got some backlash in the media.
That was a game I actually was looking forward to for a moment.
It was for me too, and then the game released, and it was
Yeah.
very bad.
Yeah.
But still a worthy story though to follow. Multiplayer was hot garbage. The graphics were very, very bad. But again, it had a very meaningful story. Like, don't get me wrong, you could say what you will about Medal of Honor, you know, being, you know, so close hold, but it had a good story. It had an interesting point. It was really trying to say something. You know, at least I felt like it was. You know, and I have, you know, as a guy who's been there twice, it's hard to talk about because it's a very frustrating thing to have spent a total 18 months in that country and see how it ended. Very frustrating,
Yes.
you know.
so like the airfield battle on that game, taking the airfield,
Bagram.
yeah, taking Bagram. I actually was playing that game, and some guys who were there saw it, and you know, they were saying it was so accurate down to the MiGs that were left on the runway. You know, you could see the MiGs that were there. They're like, you know, I've got pictures. You know, my buddies have pictures setting on those MiGs. You know, they're all setting up on the MiGs after the battle. You know. So that
Yeah, it's
Wild.
it is wild. Like, you know, again, one of the worst things, and I'll go ahead and give this little spiel now. I don't know how many people we have watching. I see we got major squiggles, and I'm talking in the chat. You know,
I think we only have like 4 or 5, honestly.
there are a great many people that I blame for the failure of this war. Like the failure of everything that happens, and it starts at the top with politicians and big business corporations like, you know, war profiteering companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and all them. They all hold a special place of aggravation right here. But another group of people, and they're the last on the list, is the American public itself. And I say that not because I want to chastise the American public, because they don't deserve that. They only know what's happening in front of them, and if it's kept secret from them, it's kept secret from them, and there's not much you can do about that. But everyone forgot about this war.
Sorry,
Every year, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And you're like, what service am I doing? Tell me. Well, you know, the oil war. You know, that one. Iraq? Like, I didn't go to Iraq, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, they all forgot about Afghan.
Everybody forgot about Afghanistan. Everyone forgot that was a thing. Like, You know, again, the media had a lot to play in on that. So again, it's not entirely on, the whole public, the whole everybody, because if people aren't seeing it, people aren't seeing it, and there's not much you can do about that, too much. But everything was forgotten about. This I don't know how well anyone will be able to see this, but let's see. Yeah,
Now you can see it, kind of.
it's kind of coming in a
Yeah,
little bit.
I've seen them. I've seen it.
But in short, the
I know
meme is
where-
there's a soldier. He's like, I'm off to my third tour. I'm off, to my third tour in Afghanistan, or is it my fourth? And in the background, there's just like a bunch of people sitting around. The kids are on their phone, and the woman says, "Thank you for your service," and then says, "So who's on Dancing with the Stars tonight?" Like, that's my controversial point on the whole thing, is that, people forgot about this war. People forgot about the veterans. The only time people remember anything about this war was when it was coming to an end. And everyone just thought, "Oh, it'll be fine now, right? You guys got this." And it fell apart. And then everyone took to social media. And I, this is my bigoted point towards, military service members and whatnot. And I know that other service members who served at different points in this war will have it. Because I'd say at the Army, like, everybody thinks that, like, in the Army, that all veterans are out there fist bumping each other and shit like that. That's a fucking lie. The veteran community is fucking toxic. It is fucking toxic. You got
guys.
like you've got Medal of Honor recipients who call out people who do, like, the tactical gear shit. You got people who served in Operation Enduring Freedom. You got, like, when Afghanistan came to an end, and I felt so needed to make a comment about it. This one website that I follow on social media said, was praising the Operation Enduring Freedom people, that I had to write a comment and be like, that there was more than just Operation Enduring Freedom, right? Like, that was only one part of the Afghan war. There's a whole other conglomerate of operations that, like, I was a part of, that people just don't even know about. Completely forgotten about.
Church, I appreciate you.
I know you're
Get back
cutting me
on
off.
topic. Can we
You're
get
cutting me
back on
off.
topic of the podcast?
I think
Yeah.
moving forward, like, so what do we want to see in games? I think we've touched like this storytelling. I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah.
That people need to invest in these characters again. Instead of just pushing this this online multiplayer, I'd like to see some freaking story modes again, man. I'd like to see those missions where you actually feel for your character and his buddies.
Yeah. So, and I actually want to bring up a topic that Churchy told me not to, because there's a possibility that the developers could, hit us with a ban hammer quickly. But Tarkov, it's a game that a lot of people are crazy about right now. But wait, Rio, did you ever play Tarkov?
No, and I won't.
Okay, yeah.
Thank God. Good man. Good man.
You saved money.
Look at it.
Till it's full. Wait till it's complete, if it ever is.
Talk about it all the time.
Yeah. So
It sounds like a nightmare.
So the issue that I have with it is that the game that we are currently playing is nothing like what it's going to be in the end. At all. And they keep on telling us you're not going to recognize the game. And, like, one thing I was pointing out to Church, and I think I told Coop as well, they've been working on this Streets of Tarkov map for a while. And it's supposed to be some kind of interconnected map that's not any of the maps, but it's a interconnecting of all the maps. So if you've ever played anything like Division,
Yeah, I remember Division.
I think literally the Tarkov is going to turn into some kind of Division where the streets are going to be literally the streets, and you go from one place to another going into instances.
Do you want to do that? Does that sound fun?
That sounds like a headache, because you get out of a map or a raid praying that you don't get sniped because you got out with $4 or $5 million worth of crap, And this person back on the hill, 700,000-800,000 meters away, who knows how to range it perfectly, sees you come out of the wall, and boom, and then you
Close
lost
your-
everything.
Blow
So
your
here's-
fucking head off.
Here's my thing. Like I've heard that like the developers of the game are wanting to go to like a squad-esque, have specific roles and stuff like that. If that's the direction this game goes in, I will play this game until I die, because so far, yes, we're not going to recognize this game when it's over. But right now, I'm having so much fun with this game that okay, yeah, something changes, it sucks for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then we have like 5 good raids with our guys, and we're like, all right, you know what? I hated this game. I wanted to throw my computer out the freaking window because of this game. But now, you know what? I could probably do this again. I could run a couple more raids, and it is the most fun getting pissed off that I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that being
Yeah.
said, their customer support sucks
Yeah.
fucking balls, but that's another thing.
And
Well,
I, Go ahead.
the problem with Tarkov, and this is the problem. I'll say it. I'll say it. I want to get it out there because it always is itching at the back of my heart to say this. Tarkov is a game, but it is not a game. Tarkov. No. Let me finish. So Tarkov is a game that you can pay multiple prices for. Let me see if I can pull those prices up really quick on my end. Getting on their launcher here.
$49.99,
Treadwater.
$69.99, $79.99, and $159.99.
Exactly. You pay a lot of money to play this game. And guess what?
Doesn't it recycle on you too?
Yes, it does. But let me finish. This game is not a full game.
It's
It
not even
isn't.
done.
You literally, because you pretty much, you don't have to, but you almost have to buy the highest tier level you can, because, let's be fair, the alpha case sucks. Why the fuck would I do that to myself?
In the beta
Don't
case, it's a
know.
waste of time.
And the beta case is a waste of time. You're almost incentivized to pay the $130 to upgrade the game. I'll say it. I upgraded from the alpha to that because, yeah, I needed the space. I needed the help. That alpha container sucked. I was so limited on space and everything. But you literally pay upwards to $130 for a game that isn't even complete. Like, not even complete. It is still missing multiple mechanics. They're still adding guns. They're still adding portions to the maps. This game is incomplete. By all standards, in my opinion, this game is not a game. It is a fraction of a game. It is a smidge of a game that they promise you that they're going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding more to. But you paid a lot of money for that game.
Yeah.
For the opportunity to beta test a game that is not complete, that is still in development with all of its functions and metas and everything like that. And you're still how much closer to a complete game? When did Tarkov first launch? It was like 2014. The game hasn't been in this beta/alpha phase, whatever it's in right now, since 2014. I hate to break it to Battlestate Games. It's 2021. Your fan base is shrinking extra hardcore right now. You need to get with it and make your game. Like,
Alpha first made available August 4, 2016.
all right, I was 2 years off.
Yeah.
Well, still, it's been 5 years. I'm pretty sure DayZ fell into the same line of shit too, where they stayed in beta forever, and then they decided to launch the game, and everyone was like, "Wow, this sucks. I don't want to play this anymore." Yeah, someone follows it. I looked on Steam. That shit's on mixed reviews right now. And I know it was in the negatives before that.
I think
at the
doesn't
same
like
time,
ZF play it?
Some
DayZ.
people play it. I don't know who plays it. I know Coop played it for a little bit. I know Kyle played it for a little bit. But
DayZ, I played.
DayZ, he played it. I didn't get into it because, I hate to say it, I am very much getting to the point where I'm worn out on survival games as well as battle royale games, because they are such an overwashed meta, in my opinion, that, like, what was it? First, like, real battle royale game got thrown out, it was PUBG, and it had a cult following on Arma. And then from Arma, they kind of moved off, or however that worked. Well, once PUBG got popular, then here came Fortnite. And pretty much now every major game title that comes out anymore, whether it be Battlefield 5 or Modern Warfare, they all have a battle royale to them.
Yeah, they're trying
know?
to tack onto it because they know that's what sold those games.
They have a formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now
Yeah,
with
Too
Now
little,
with-
too late at this point.
the way Tarkov sold, the way Tarkov is selling all over Twitch, because Twitch pretty much made Tarkov at this point.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't for Pestily, Clean, and Landmark, and all these other guys, and these Twitch drops, like, Tarkov probably wouldn't be known for anything, really. Like, the only reason I found the game was because other people pitched it to me, and I kind of bought into it, and then I didn't play it because I didn't understand the game, period, because there's a learning curve, but the learning curve isn't taught to you in any way. You just kind of figure it out or look on a wiki for it, or you watch some dude's video. Like, that's how you learn Tarkov. You don't actually, like, the game doesn't teach you a goddamn thing. You have to figure it out for yourself. But
Yeah.
the sad thing is that meta's even being captured by other games now.
Mhm.
You see it in games like Deadside. Tarkov had another competitor to it on Steam. I think it was called what is it? Fuck, I don't remember. But there's another game that's about similar to it, and those people are breakoffs from Battlestate Games. You know, who thought Tarkov needed to go in that direction rather than the one that it's in now. You know, other games are starting to catch up. Like indie games, not AAA games. Granted, once the AAA games start doing it, it's over. You know the trend is dead.
Yeah.
Or it's at least on the way out and will be popular for only a few more years. Like, I don't see a lot going on with Warzone anymore. So, you know, that tells you anything.
I'll say this with the development of this game. People who want to make a hyper-realistic game, they should not be making a hyper-realistic game if they're not allowed to fire fucking weapons. If they're banned in their country and they don't know how these weapons function, they should not be using their idea of how these weapons function in a game.
That's just funny.
You know?
It's sad and funny.
You know,
Same
and
time.
and so like I actually I went slap off on a Battle State employee that was we were trying to figure out what was the problem with the game, and I was like, you know, the field of view is so screwed up on this game that your M4, I swear to God, it drops off at 60 feet. Like, you have so much bullet drop on this gun that what you look at on that screen looks like 60 feet. You're shooting at a guy's head and you're hitting him in the chest. I'm sorry. That's, you know,
Yeah.
I've fired this weapon system before. I know what it does. Yo, come on. You know, get your shit together. But that being said, at the end of the day, it's a game.
Mhm.
Ultimately, we're either going to play it or we're not. We bounce between so many games now because we'll be playing Tarkov. Like, we went back to Siege. Siege was a game I swore I would never go back to because of the direction that game started going in. But Tarkov got me so pissed off one night. We downloaded Siege. Now we're playing and screwing around and, you know, memeing on kids and stuff like that. It's fun.
And hating our lives.
Yeah.
How much different is it from when it launched? Siege.
It's
A lot.
Very different.
It's-
I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of changes. Like everything handles differently than I remember.
Mhm.
Like so much differently.
Yeah.
It still
so
plays
many
out the same. It's
So many-
yeah,
Yeah.
so many nerves. Yeah.
You're shooting
Um,
marshmallows now instead of bullets. There's no
much.
bodies anymore because people could get offended.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Squiggles in chat says Tarkov has been in alpha/beta longer than most games even exist these days.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with Hell Let Loose or Squad over here. Just spend like an hour or so playing a good game of that. That's if you get a good game.
That's another game I want. I feel like that's a perfect segue into like some like indie game conversations about first person shooters. Like we you know, Tarkov and this survival shooter stuff is cool. The only one thing I will lay my final note on Tarkov is a game that receives praise for being hyper realistic, but then has so many hyper realistic standards to it that it's almost like playing Call of Duty. I love watching his streams and his videos afterwards sometimes, but Landmark and EFT What the Fuck moments is just the absolute epitome of what is wrong with Tarkov, in my opinion, for a quote-unquote hyper-realistic game. You know, Clean does his podcast where him and all the gun guys of the internet come in, like Lucas Botkin and Brandon Herrera, the AK guy, come in and they jerk Nikita off in the podcast, being like, "Good job on your realistic game, Nikita. Look at how the AK functions and cycles. It's awesome." And it's like, I'm like, yeah, but did you watch that guy jump off the second story of dorms and shatter his legs and then take off sprinting and kill 5 people? No, you didn't see that. Because let's be fair, these guys don't play the fucking game other than for like an hour every month and being like, yeah, look, I'm relevant. I play video games. Not insulting those guys because I do enjoy their content, but you know, they went. I listened to that podcast. Kyle pitched it to me, and I listened, and I heard it. A lot of praise about ultra realism, but then also a lot of, you know, the words "as real as playable" was said, and I'm like, those are two separate things, and you can't really make that argument. But going on from that into, you know, games that I do feel get like the ultra realism right, indie games such as Squad, Hell Let Loose. I want to say Postscriptum, but Postscriptum is nothing more than the World War II version of Squad, and I play that one once or twice, and I don't like it. It's really bad, in my opinion.
Point to what Icky was saying earlier with how Tarkov's trying to make the maps connect together. Like, I think Postscriptum was trying to do that same thing, right? Like, it's supposed to be Operation Market Garden, and it's supposed to be like every map is right next to each other, so everything's supposed to be going on at once. But the game's just garbage. They don't know how to put it together right.
Yeah,
that's why Hell Let Loose is awesome. Like, it's objectively a much better version of the same game.
I feel like such a noob because I'm the only one without a camera. This is terrible.
All good. I did want to say one last thing, and it's something that about Tarkov that Peshley brought up, because he stopped. He a month ago he was the #1 Twitch content creator, period, by like 100,000 concurrent viewers and subscribers. So pretty high up there. And he said he was leaving. He was not going to be playing Tarkov possibly at all anymore, or for a very long time. And he said because 3 wipes in a row now, there's no real new content. And he said in 3 weeks' time, he has brought his main to 40 with too much money to worry about. He brought an alt because he brought a bear, he brought a USEC, both to 40, all the way up, you know, maxed everything. And then on the 3rd week, he did hardcore, which means he couldn't use anything but traders or anything but found in game, in raid, or bartered items, and did the same thing to level 40. And he didn't even think about it. He's like, there's no entertainment to it. If I can do that in my sleep, it's not worth it.
Well, let's be fair. Tarkov at this point, and I know it's a point you've all heard me make many times before. Tarkov isn't meant for the everyday guy who goes to work and then comes and plays the game. The game is meant for someone like Pestily. The game is meant for someone like Landmark. The game is meant for that dude who's still on his COVID leave and not getting off of it. You know, still just work, like staying at home, like, because like if you look at the game, like if you have nothing but time to play Tarkov all day, every fucking day, hours and hours on end, you will be a god among gods. Your skills will be through the roof. You will be a bullet sponge. You will have the time to binge the money to get the best armor, and you will be a skilled out, armored up, money driven person who doesn't have to give a shit about anyone who walks up to him and shoots him. Because, again, back on the argument of hyper-realism versus as real as playable, Tarkov fits in the category as real as playable because you turn into a bullet sponge, and, you know, that's all just based on how long you play the game.
And then
Fuck.
squads that hyper realism. Like, you can get into a game with a group of people, group of buddies, and spend the whole game driving a truck. Running logistics. Which,
I tried to
honestly,
get
I
into it.
enjoy sometimes. Because, you know, if you want to have, like, a nice chill day, you don't want to run around, have, like, have a stupid afternoon getting shot left, right, and center. You just drive the truck in the background. And I get blown up 5 times.
I know Coop's been trying to talk because I get all sorts of stupid and fired up. You were trying to say something, Coop. I'm sorry.
I don't fucking remember, bro. It wasn't important.
I'm sorry. Just tell me to shut up. I get fired up about Tarkov.
Yeah, Tarkov is a very frustrating game. I will say that if not for getting frustrated at Tarkov, I would have never started playing Squad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's certain games that because I got aggravated with Tarkov that I've downloaded and played. You know, yeah, Tarkov is, you know, it's a pain in the ass, but ultimately we're going to keep playing Tarkov. You know, we're going to be like, all right, wipe is next week. We're going to get in there. We're going to try to grind this out again. That being said, yeah, we only play for a couple hours a day, if that. I think that, you know, we're beating a dead horse because we don't know where the game is going with this. Also, the air quotes that were happening so frequently while you guys were talking during Tarkov was just absolutely hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah, it is a dead horse. It just, like, I love Tarkov. I enjoy playing Tarkov, and I just wish that, like, I wish that I felt like there was more coming out of it. I have actually made a promise to myself that I don't really intend to touch Tarkov again until it comes into a more full state. Because, like I said, it is a game that you have to binge in order to get anywhere in it. And I just don't have that time. Like, I don't want to continuously I don't want to have to live in this RNG, like, grind fest of a game. You know,
I want to play until they release more content, more maps.
Yeah,
When I
like,
say content,
Yeah.
I want maps.
and not just
want,
Lighthouse. I want like 2, maybe 3 maps.
Yeah. That being
That'll
said,
never happen.
I'll probably play on it to kind of learn the map a little bit here and there. But like, I mean, even like with us with labs, we don't even run labs because of, you know, the way it was several wipes ago. It was a hacker fest.
Yeah,
So-
still is. Which I'm not going to get in on the hacker comments on that one.
Yeah, there's a video out there for you guys to watch if you're really interested. It's by Upper Echelon Gaming. He did some investigating into that, and you know, he went to like the websites where you can find, you know, hacks for games like Tarkov and other games. You know, he also went to the sites where you can hire people to come in and raid with you and shit. I don't want to touch on it anymore because, you know, Nikita, you know, they might fly out of nowhere and ban our live stream somehow, you know, whatever fucking Russian magic that they use.
Do we want to circle back on Tarkov again?
We can
Nah.
go ahead and circle off into Squad and like Hell Let Loose. Like
Yeah, I went in and put up their little logos up there.
Squad is an amazing game in my opinion. Like, granted, your entire play in it is going to be based on your team.
Mhm.
Like, if you just have the guy who's just going yeehaw and just running off and getting murdered, you know, like, the game really has like a hyper focus on trying to push you to talk to people and communicate. The other thing that I feel that games like this get right, and I actually feel like maybe it should be the future of gaming at this point, is that all these games, like Squad, at least Squad, I can't speak for Hell Let Loose, those are all person-owned, like, servers. Like, in order to run a server, so I'm a part of a Squad group, well, they're not really too much into Squad now, but it's the Easy Company 2506 community out there. They own their own server. They moderate the server. They literally have people who come in game, admin cam, and they'll fly around. You know, you can report cheaters. You know, you can kick people out of the game who are literally just being like ridiculous and trying to ruin it for you. Like that function exists in the game. Like I think like a lot of games need to pick up that kind of function so that way, you know, things like cheating can be curtailed in some way. You know, you know, like I've been in those discords where I've been there with an Easy Company moderator, and they have like a public section where people can report cheaters, and the admins in game can like go around and go find this dude and like stay on him and watch him the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, you see it with games like Rust. Like, you know, that to me is like the most ideal thing out there. You know, Arma does it. You know, it prevents nonsense like you see in Tarkov. It could be used like if Tarkov ever gave out, you know, personal servers, you could potentially see a curb to cheating. You could, which, you know, God forbid they ever do that. You know, that's awesome in my opinion. You know, and I also like the idea that I don't have to shoot someone 5 million times before they die. You know,
Yeah.
usually 1 to 2 shots will do it in squad. One if you're unlucky.
See,
Like squad can get complex too, with like their that hyper realism. Like I've never played Arma, but like in the realm of how many buttons you need to manage just to look around, not look around, but like
Arma, oh, sorry to cut you off. Like Arma in that regard is not as complex, I would say. Like I feel like Arma gets a bad rep because me and Kyle and Coop's been playing Arma just recently. It's actually like surprisingly not that complex. Like it really isn't. Like, you know, at most like you need just your A, S, D, W key,
yeah.
and you know the basic stuff you would need for a first-person keyboard shooter. You know, minus adding stuff for like I for your inventory, K to pull out your compass, and space to like interact with things when you get the prompt.
Yeah, if you open the game and then pull up the key mapping, it looks like it's a lot, but really you don't use 90% of that. If you don't want to fly helicopters, you can get rid of half your keyboard.
Mhm.
You know, if you don't
That's
fly
true.
planes and stuff, that side goes away. Basically, you've got your basic, you know, run, walk, jump, prone, crouch, leans, you know, reload, that kind of stuff. I think that Arma 3 is actually easier to play than Arma 2. And that's just because instead of looking at what the keybinds were, I just started playing.
Yeah, like Arma is given this thing where it is called like overly complex, and I used to think that too about it. And it actually really isn't that bad. I've made the suggestion before that we all sit down and try to play Arma together. And you know, Arma like is very very modded, like very modded, mod controlled game that. You know, like right now, the game itself, like the base game is set in a futuresque setting, but there are mods that you can bring it back to.
Halo.
You could do Halo, you could do Star Wars, you could bring it back to like just regular day M4 AKs. You can download mods that make the enemy into insurgents or the Taliban. You can download mods that turn, you know, more friendly NPCs into.
Build your own
I'll say-
FPS.
You could literally, yeah, like people build like whole operations out of this. Like there are whole communities
Yeah, I'm playing.
that do that.
I'm playing. It's called Exile. It's a mod. Essentially, the story is you're airdropped onto this island, and you just have to survive. It's, you know, you loot guns, and you kill insurgents. Well, there are instances on the map, like missions. You know, these guys have. Their truck broke down, and there's these badass operators out there. If you kill them, you get to steal their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you get experience that helps you buy things from the traders in this mod. You know, these guys, and it is so, like, me and Kyle got into a firefight with these guys earlier today. Like, you know, the first one we did, we just laid on this hill and just sniped these guys and picked them off, no big deal. We went to this next instance on these guys, and there was less enemy, but these sons of bitches were the fucking Spetsnaz of enemy. Like, they started popping shots, and like looking through the scope, you see 3 of these motherfuckers peel left, 3 of them peeled right. They're fucking firing, and they're moving, and they're, you know, they're leapfrogging and all that stuff. It is I mean, it was fun. For playing against, it's a PvE server that I'm playing on. So you're only playing against AI. You only have to worry about them. You don't have those guys that are ruining the game for you. So to learn it in the PvE side, it was so much fun, and it in my eyes, it is a lot better game than what I thought it would be.
Mhm.
I'd love to play with you guys. It'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Because
Like-
I was getting more towards like with squad. Like if you're playing like a squad leader, for example, you need to know like a lot of different keys. Like
Yeah.
you need to know how to use the role. Because if you don't, because you'll have like 3 different chat settings you have to manage. You have to know how to actually place fortifications, build fortifications, and manage a team. Because that's what the game's built to do, right? To actually communicate and manage not only your squad, but the other squads around you, so you could actually win that game and move forward with it.
Well, and that too, like when it comes into that with squad, like when it comes to like Arma, I don't think I don't think you've gotten onto the Signal Hill group. Like the game is literally set with invade and annex, like where they've given you the map. It's the map of Stratus or Altus, whichever it is, and
That's
there are
the new one,
certain
right? The new DLC.
No. This the new DLC for Arma is they just launched a Vietnam thing for it.
Shoot,
But-
Group, we need to do that. That'd be
Um,
great time.
I'm thinking about it. I'm actually getting ready to pull the trigger and buy the DLC.
I've been looking to try and play it. But when it comes to squad, like one of the worst things about squad is that it can be a very, very, very toxic environment, where your entire experience can be ruined by the people in the game. Like, you come in and you're like, man, I just want to run around as a rifleman and shoot at some Russians or maybe some insurgents, and then before you know it, your whole squad quit, and the dude before he left just chucked the squad lead title on you. And you're like, does anybody want this? And everyone's like, no. And you're like, well, fuck it, I'll give it a try. And you start giving it a try, and then you got everyone yelling at you. You got some dude in your chat in your squad being like, squad lead, what are we doing? Squad lead, why are you so useless? Come on, squad lead, come on.
Piece of
Like,
shit.
yeah, and then you got other squad leads being like, Squad 6, what are you doing over there? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. I told my squad to just go off and do whatever. Like, what do you, go away. Like, go away.
Squad would be,
Or
I think Squad would be a lot better if it had a smaller game mode instead of the 50v50 or whatever it is. If you could go in and do 3 squads of 5 against 3 squads of 5 on a smaller map, stuff like that, so that the people who are trying to get into that game have a place where they could go learn that game.
Well, so, not to cut you off, because there are different, like, game modes in the game. Like, right now, everyone kind of plays, like, the base RASS, like, RAAS version, which is, like, random, like, area kind of spawns, and you kind of go and you maneuver through those points. But there are, like, a skirmish mode. There's, like, an actual tank v tank kind of gameplay, but they're not very well, not a lot of these communities run them because they're actually not very popular.
or you
Like,
could
I know
join a
with-
community that builds scenarios. Like they'll do like one life kind of games where the entire mission is that like they'll build like an operation, and you have to either succeed or fit, right?
Yeah, one of the worst things for squad is that you're just reliant on who's ever running the server to put those things in there, and unfortunately the squad community just doesn't do things like skirmish and whatnot. Like, it's just not something that they do. There's squad
I almost
events.
got banned from a server once.
Yeah, you did. That
Because
was
I
funny.
created too many squads. And they
Yeah,
had a
like-
rule about creating squads, and I had no idea.
Yeah, like it just that's where your level of gameplay has to experience comes from, is just in the community that runs the server as well as the players that come into the game. One thing I like about games like Squad and Hell Let Loose, and it's something that I wish Battlefield would get back to, is more linear objectives. I'm so tired of this scattered out. You can just capture any point when you feel like it. You should have to, I believe, capture points in a line. If not in a line fashion, then in like how Squad does it is you can't cap the next objective until the one behind it is capped. Because you then run into issues in games where people are just capping like points all over the place, and instead of actually fighting with your team and fighting more cohesively, you're just panic spreading out all over the map to cap the point back from the dude on the quad bike who ran up and started capping the point. Like,
And that's where the communication comes into play, because you could designate a team to hold a position, and then it could designate like 2 or 3 more to push forward.
See, for me, when it came to Squad, like I enjoyed the game, but it was, for me, it was a little too slow.
Yeah.
That was my only issue with the game, especially with me trying to stream it. That was my only real argument against it, because I don't know, I would sit in a 5-ton for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, did it remind you too much of the Army
Yes,
when you were logistics?
because you'd sit in a Humvee for 20 minutes, get there finally, and then bam, well, do it again.
In the next truck.
And again, that's again like one of the downfalls of Squad is that you're so reliant on other people for your game experience. Like, if you don't have a team that's hard charging the point, and you get that one team who decides, booyah kachak, everyone load up in the lodge and they drive into a fucking tank, well, it's gonna be a long game, my friend, because your ass is running from start all the way to the next point, which is almost like 5 kilometers away. Enjoy. Yeah, it's just a sad part of Squad.
I think I think we've had a lot of good points. I think we should start moving towards wrapping this thing up.
Yeah, so I want to leave us with like what I guess games and stuff we're looking forward to. Like myself, and I'm pretty sure half of us here at least, I'm actually looking forward to the Battlefield 2040.
So
Or-
Battlefield may have released one bad title in the last year, but it was still fun to play it when it first came out. Battlefield, as the developers over there are doing great things with their games. They're fun, the way the game plays.
Yeah.
I'm always going to look forward to the next Battlefield that releases.
Yeah. Because it has the potential to be amazing. The high potential. Because like I will argue Battlefield 5, not their greatest day in ever. Battlefield 1,
One was great.
it was
One
okay.
was fun.
It was fun, but I miss the modern weapons.
Yes.
One-
When comparing it to Battlefield 5, it was fucking phenomenal. But when comparing it to Battlefield 3, not so much.
Yeah, I got
History's fun.
history's fun. But I will also say that history has to be done right,
Yeah,
especially if you're calling it history.
absolutely.
If you want to call it a revision of history, that's one thing.
But if I want to play a revision of history, I'm going to play Assassin's Creed.
They're usually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, my World War II soldier shouldn't have a prosthetic arm. I'm sorry. And one of them shouldn't be carrying a katana. Just saying.
The biggest takeaway is if you have a prosthetic arm, you're not in a World War II game. That right there is what ruined that game for Church the whole way around. The prosthetic arm.
He keeps bringing it up.
If they were running around without an arm, he'd have been fine.
yeah, totally, totally.
One
Well,
arm is golf.
it was what really ruined the game for me was Battlefield 5. What ruined it for me was it had so much of a Call of Duty feeling. Like, it was just obnoxiously Call of Duty, and with calling itself Battlefield, just run and gun game. Don't get me wrong, I like fast-paced shooter games, but I also believe that there should be like a pace to it. Especially in Battlefield's case, where it's a large map conquest kind of style deal. Battlefield 5 gave me the feeling of run and gun. It didn't give me the feeling of we're making a tactical push to take the enemy's objective. No, we're just running around, throwing grenades at each other and sliding around corners and spraying at each other. Battlefield 1, I liked. One thing I will say that I didn't care for with it was I felt like they took a piece of history of World War One and said, "Hey guys, here's World War One," and I'm like, I felt like there was more to World War One than just
Good job.
than just what they gave us.
Yeah. Like it was the later
really-
years of World War One.
Yeah, like they nitpicked it. They nitpicked it and said we need to go to a point in time where everyone has semi-automatic rifles and submachine guns, and oh, by the way, you can pick up that huge ass LMG and run around with it. I like
nice.
there was so much more to World War One than just that, and that just kind of bugged me. But I still played it anyways. It didn't kill me.
And that campaign was bastardized, man.
And then even more.
Literally, it was nothing like what they portrayed. Yeah.
Back onto because I ran off on my soapbox there. Battlefield 2042. Or 20 whatever the hell it is. I'm gonna remain reserved on it. I am.
That
Because-
sandbox looks fun.
The sandbox looks fun, but here's the thing is that I've been lied to too many times by flashy trailers to just want to pull the trigger immediately on something.
Battlefield
You know-
got flashy trailers too. They really rope you in.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna remain as much as I can optimistically about it, but I'm also gonna not hedge my bets on it. Don't get me wrong, if I see us all playing it, you'll probably find me trying to hop in with you guys, but I don't know. EA, DICE, I don't trust EA.
Yeah.
EA holds DICE, so my function of trust is kind of hesitant on DICE as well.
I'm having a lot of fun with these indie games, honestly, right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Great. You would
Yeah,
enjoy Hell Let Loose.
I'm looking forward to the Battlefield game just to see what they do with it. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop playing like 0 Hour and Ground Branch and stuff like that. Those games are so much fun because it's not as stressful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play Battlefield because most of us got started. I think all of us got started playing Battlefield together.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1. That's where we really try to go competitive.
Yep.
And
So-
you know how that turned out.
Still entertaining.
Yeah.
No.
One game I can't wait for, not to cut you off, Vicky. Going back on games, can't wait for Halo Infinite. I managed to get in on the test flight this time around, and it is looking pretty promising. Of a game. Right now they sell it. They're selling it as they sell the campaign because the multiplayer will be free, which scares the ever living shit out of me because when they do shit like that, they usually means the game is going to be crammed full of loot boxes, which they promise that's not going to be the case. But I'll hold my breath. I at least want to continue the Halo story because the Halo story is awesome. Another game, I don't know if you guys are following what the 6 Days in Fallujah.
Not yet.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that where they were talking about when they were making it. I want to play that game. That game is going to be fucking sick.
Yeah, not if the media wizards try to ruin it like they did Medal of Honor. Because I know. So the game was actually supposed to release a long time ago. 6 Days in Fallujah. There's a video out there where the game was actually on its way to being developed, and it was stopped. It was stopped because someone had issue with it. Because again, just like Medal of Honor, it ran into that. I don't know if we should be making games like that because it's going to upset the veterans of today. And it actually stopped the game from being, produced. And, they finally kind of came back to producing it to try and get it out there. Video from 4 years ago, I'll just save the link and I'll send it off to you guys that talk about it. They actually interviewed the creators and stuff, and the game got stopped up. It really did.
So what do we want to accomplish on our next podcast? I think anything that we learned today, this is a learning process, what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think we had too much to talk about today to cram into a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a game
We had a broad-
comparison, kind of like team-based games versus the run and gun stuff that we were jumping around with here.
Well, see, we were thinking, like, this is something that me and Church have been talking about for a minute as well, about whether we should go for, because we want these conversations to not always be, I guess, easy, and not necessarily controversial either, though.
So here's the only problem that I think we're going to have with that. Pretty much out of the four of us, our mindset is
Military.
fairly the same. We have a lot of the same views. So it's going to be we're going to be hard pressed to have a hard conversation, if you will, a real debate. That being said, like, we could sit down, because I know, like, mine and your feelings, Icky, about playing Halo. Like, we're not into it. Now, Church and
Blasphemy.
yeah.
I like the campaign. That's about where
Halo
it ends.
3? Halo 3 custom games, man, that was the shit.
So
Halo
see,
3, the more simpler time in gaming.
Yeah.
see, I mean, like, we could have that conversation all day long. We could compare Halo to, Battlefield, because, like, I dated a girl that loved playing Halo, and I was like, the only reason you like playing Halo is because it takes no skill.
Okay, that's our next topic.
Whoa. Hey,
this,
what?
This is definitely happening. Stop.
I was like, play some Battlefield, and actually have to work with your team to win. Don't just pick up a shotgun and a freaking sword.
You leave my sword alone, Cooper.
I
Do
have
what I
the
want.
high ground.
But I mean, that, like, those conversations. Now, that being said, I don't think we should focus 100% solely on video games.
Yeah.
There are issues in our country and stuff like that that could be touched on. I think we should perhaps set aside maybe 30-45 minutes to talk about that kind of stuff and get the chat involved. If it goes a little longer, that's cool. I do know that we don't want to be like, okay, we're going to have the great Halo Battlefield debate, and then we're going to do Battlefield and Call of Duty, and then we're going to do Medal of Honor and Battlefield. We don't want to do that, because that's going to take too much time. There's way too many good things of every game and that kind of stuff, and
Those should need to be broken up into separate
Yeah.
streams of topics. Like, we could plan out like debates between games and make that like a regular.
you could make like a basketball bracket or something like that of what we think the greatest game of all time is, and we could spend like 10, 15, 20 minutes talking about why Battlefield is superior to Halo.
The original Paper Mario. That game was a game.
You said Paper Mario?
Paper Mario, the first one made.
You talking about
Never
the
played.
one on the Wii, or are you talking about the one on the Nintendo?
The one on the N64 and the GameCube.
Oh, there was one on the NES as well.
Was there a Paper Mario on NES?
Yeah, it was
Was
very
there?
rare.
Oh god.
I never had any of these things, so I don't know anything about that.
You gotta figure.
I need to educate you, man.
So I was
That would be a topic.
I was born in '85, and the Nintendo Entertainment System was born October of '85 in America, at least. The Funcom system, which is the Nintendo in Japan, was born a year earlier.
Yeah, well, Nintendo's still older than I am. That's all I care about.
I'm older than that.
I guess I know there's one thing I learned, and it's one thing I knew that I was gonna happen was I was gonna go off on my fucking tangent somewhere, and I did. Rio kind of reined me in, thank God.
See, on our next one, we're
Yeah.
gonna take bets with our chat. Who's gonna go off?
Oh no. Oh no, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. No. I'm in so much trouble.
Landslide.
And whoever loses the bet has to go play, I don't know, something that would
They
kill their
hate.
soul. Flappy
Hard
Bird.
off.
Oh, is that you even allowed to play
On
that
stream.
anymore?
There's what's the word? You can find a simulation for it.
What's a really terrible game out there that we could make someone play? Like a really terrible game.
Don't fall.
Tarkov.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Tarkov or don't fall, or both.
All's fun.
No, because with Tarkov you can get addicted to it. We want them to be miserable the whole time they play it. So,
Okay,
Sweeper.
they are required to speed run Super Mario Brothers 1 in under 5 minutes. If
Oh,
not,
crap.
they get zapped.
The problem is the world record's like 4 minutes and 8 seconds. So
Yeah. Whatever. I got a Switch. I've been
bad.
working on it.
swear to God.
I'm
I know how
I'm
to
down
get to the
to
last level.
6.
Um.
I'm down to 6
Not to-
minutes.
So what? So what did we come to an agreement on what our next podcast will be?
Not yet.
I don't know if I
Entirely.
missed it or not. I know we kind of had our jokes.
I'm thinking we're thinking like a Halo versus Battlefield debate, but I kind of
don't
feel like that'd
feel-
be very defined.
I don't feel like that would actually go as great as we would think because all four of us love Battlefield. There's
Well,
only like really like two of us that are like Halo players, but I don't think I could actually like bring a good argument for either. Like I really couldn't because like I loved both. Like I loved Halo because it was a good story. The story really hooked me in, and two, like the multiplayer was just simple. It was a simple multiplayer that you could just play. You know, yeah, there was some competitive aspects to it, but at the end of the day, like it was a more simplified game, a sci-fi shooter game. You know, where Battlefield was just more, more realistic and more modern and more grounded. So, in my opinion, I don't think I would be good in that argument.
I think the next podcast should be competitive shooters versus non-competitive shooters.
I can get
So,
behind that.
Because we
I get behind that.
we talked about a lot of games today that we like playing, but like Rainbow Six Siege is the competitive shooter right now out of
Yeah.
everything that we play.
Still is.
You know, the other games we play don't really have that competitive side to it. It has an entertainment factor, but not a competitive side. And maybe we talk about what we like about the competitive aspect versus the more laid back aspect.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I'm down with that.
I know it was mentioned that we all kind of like have the same mindset and stuff. Like I've been trying to reach out to people outside of the WPO group to bring in. I have a guy who actually is very involved in the squad competitive world because there is like an actual like people are actually trying to make that a thing, make competitive squad. So, I know that that's out there. Like that is a thing. That is really a thing. Like the dude is highly involved with it. I met him through Easy Company. And then like another group that I kind of play around with every now and then is the Sinister Network. They are all over Tarkov. They actually run like a GTA roleplay server, and right now they're all into New World.
I would like to reach out and maybe find some hardcore league people with the new Battlefield releasing. See if we can, at some point in future broadcasts time, have some conversations with that entity.
I think we can I can get a hold of Deadeye, or at least Mason. I've been talking to them actually lately.
Yeah, because I mean, WPO started as a competitive organization. I think maybe we can talk some about that. What we want to do moving forward. Yeah, we got away from competitive because we all have lives,
Yeah.
and it's hard to dedicate time out of those lives to competition. Not necessarily competition, but practice.
Yeah.
We run into the same thing with competitive shooters with practice and stuff like that as we run into trying to have fun on a certain game that we talked about for way too long today.
When was that?
Don't name it.
I'm pretty sure later I'll get some timestamps for you.
Tarkov.
The 15 times they circle back to it.
Well,
But yeah.
let's be fair. Tarkov is like a major thing for our group because it's the one thing we've played for over a year now, like religiously. So it's all very fresh in here for all of us.
Super real.
Super right there. You know, it's like being kicked in the dick and for some reason enjoying that feeling. You
I'm
don't
just
know why.
laughing over here. This is great.
Yeah, but I'm down with that.
No, that
and
was-
then
I
I-
on our Battlefield 1 train. I couldn't get enough of it.
I have a
I-
suggestion for a conversation at maybe down the road, and we can bring. I can reach out to some people. I think, because so I just realized. So we have active duty army, we have a nasty guard, and then we have we have myself and Coop. Well, Coop is a bastard anyway because he's a nasty guard and a reservist. I was a reservist, and now I'm Navy reservist. So maybe try to get like a Air Force guy and maybe a Coast Guard fucker. And
Where's
like,
Sick Boy?
we need to send out like a search party for him because I have no fucking clue.
Like he has just dropped off the face of the earth, and I'm honestly starting to worry about the guy.
Yeah, I actually am.
Maybe he died.
Hope not.
I hope.
I hope not.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
really hoping that. Well, I
He's
do
okay.
know. I do know that with the COVID stuff, there was a time during the COVID that he was quarantined away from his wife and kids.
Yes, I do. I do remember that.
He wasn't able to spend any time with them. So I'm hoping that it's just he's
fuck?
he's catching up on time that's been missed.
What kind of shit is that? Where
Yeah.
where the fuck does he live? Like
Well, I-
holy crap!
I'm assuming.
Don't say it. Don't say it out loud. But you know,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
I'm assuming that someone close to them was sick or something, and rather than risk the rest of the family, they quarantine separate.
Yeah, that, and I think it was something to do with his work too, like
Yeah.
because of what he did for work. But anyway, words.
one thing, one comment I have. I know we're wrapping up here. One thing I'll say for at least maybe for me and you, Icky, I as the hosts, I guess we need to, I went off on a tangent and I shouldn't have.
Happens.
Just try to do our best to try to keep us to the thing because right now we had Coop doing it, and that just means we suck as hosts, or at least one of us sucks as a host.
Leaders.
Same.
That's all it is. I'm just an awesome leader. So.
I was just doing behind the scenes production shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on,
Throw
Sarge.
Church under the bus. Throw
Wait,
Church
Yeah.
under the bus. It's all
Who
Church's
is
fault.
seniority of rank over here in this? in this
Like,
group?
what kind of rank are we talking? Like military
I'm
wise?
talking military
Yeah.
at this point.
I'm an E4.
Well, I guess I'm.
Yeah, you're in charge over here, Big Sam.
I guess it's my fault.
Private fucking civilian, boys.
Well, I guess for future, like Icky can handle like production stuff, and I'll try to be at least the schedule keep for it, or at least try to keep us on this. This was our first one, and like I'll say it, our topics really didn't like flow all that well.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of were just all over the place because we all have our experiences, but it's something to work on. I
We
can
also
work on it
spent-
a little bit
we
more.
also spent a really long time trying to set it up. We ran into some technical difficulties at the beginning.
Yeah.
So we just talked about a bunch of bullshit at the
Yeah.
beginning. I mean, we got
Yeah.
some bullshit out there. So, I like being able to sit around and talk to you guys and see what's going on with everybody and things like that. And eventually we'll get viewers that are curious as to how everybody's doing and what they're doing and things like that. That being
Yeah.
said, I do strongly believe that we do need to keep our topic of discussion small so we can cover everything on that topic of discussion, and then we can talk about other stuff. We have time for church to get up on his soapbox and preach. We have time for that kind of stuff. So
Well, the soapbox thing won't be a thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to look for an actual soapbox and mail to you. So,
I'm gonna.
Well, if I go on a soapbox, it should be more about the topic and not what I went on a tangent about.
You can put it in the window behind you so that when
Yeah.
something happens, you can just reach around and grab a hold of it and just.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually-
I'll literally stand up. My it'll be crotch level. You guys can see my balls hanging out there. Yeah.
From now until our next podcast, I'm gonna make a soapbox graphic, and when someone goes up on their soapbox and starts going for a minute, I'm just gonna like activate that graphic to where they're sitting on a soapbox. And just
God, I
leave
need
it.
to behave now. You guys are making this hard.
All right, so I think we have an idea for the next topic.
Yeah,
We can
competitive
push it out.
versus non-competitive, or
Yeah.
like the
And all-
different variations of that. Even in all honesty,
Yeah.
Ultimately,
I'll-
we can iron it out throughout the week and up until the next podcast. I think having that 15-minute window before we start, we should probably on the next one push it out to 30. Just
yeah.
so that we can make sure everything's working before we get going.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any way where we can do like a test without turning on YouTube.
Not
I got-
really, but we can do so like when you go to set to go live on YouTube, you can set to go live now or you can set to go live later, and it'll do this whole countdown bullshit thing. I haven't played with
Well,
it yet.
I mean, just for the fact of like checking OBS and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But since I did a lot of the like behind the scenes stuff while everyone was talking, mine is basically gold now. Now that being said, as far as all the camera feeds for everyone else, each time I think I'm gonna have to redo those, but whatever. I know how to do it quickly.
That's why I think having a little more leeway just until we get a battle rhythm going.
Yeah.
We should probably try to shoot it a little earlier because I mean going live, having this live, we've been here talking for 3.5 hours or almost 3 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
So we had people come in and leave and come in and leave and stuff like that. So I think we should find some stuff. Maybe get in the community chat of our Discord. And ask what the community thinks we should talk about on a podcast.
I'm gonna open up our podcast section to everyone else, but as far as like, I'm gonna keep a management level of it for us, I guess,
Good.
because
Yeah.
obviously the only ones I can see podcast right now is management.
Yeah.
Well, moving forward, I think the topic suggestions should be open to everyone.
Yeah.
I think the actual podcast chat itself should probably stay management, so that way we can pull from the topic suggestions and put that into the podcast. That'll give us an idea of what we want to talk about, what we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, we could actually get somebody into this that would give us an absolute 180-degree opinion on everything we say.
Well, we've been talking about getting that one person in here, and I think we all know who that is.
Well, so let's real quick.
Let's go and
Oh,
end
I know who you're
this.
talking about.
Yeah, let's go ahead and cut the stream here, and we can kind of have like this little. We can have our discussion on the side. I only say that because Koopa had already said 2 hours now, maybe a little bit more. Let's just try to cut the stream, and
2.5
we can
2.5
move. We can
hours.
move our little. Our quote unquote AAR session off into the Discord.
All
Yeah.
right, Army.
All right,
Thanks,
gonna
Sarge.
do this ending. Give it some music.
Honestly, I mean, it was a fun little conversation.
Yeah, for our first one, I don't think it went bad.